And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet. It's all over mainstream media, all over television, all over everywhere. There's a whole lot happening. You got Biden announcing what he wants to do with this new virus package. What's that? $1.9 trillion. After we already passed a $1 trillion package, let's put that in perspective. We did a $1 trillion package in December, if I'm not mistaken. Here he is talking about another $1.9 trillion with a minimum wage of $15 per hour. Way too much. It's going to bankrupt small businesses. And of course, it's going to be a godsend for his big company buddies like Walmart, Amazon, etc. They can afford to pay the very high wages while small businesses cannot afford to pay the very high wages. That's just kind of how it goes on the left, always looking out for their buddies in big business. Also, we got to talk about some of these left-wingers getting arrested. Hold on. Is everything good? I think we're straight. Because I'm getting some weird stuff. If my sound is good, y'all let me know. Because I'm getting some weird information from the YouTubes. We're talking about left-wingers getting arrested at the protests or after the protests. And a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again for being here. Most certainly appreciate you guys. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, and I appreciate y'all for that. Let me go ahead and fix my chat on the right-hand side of the screen so I can just tighten that up right quick. But if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the channel, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up right now. That'll help the algorithm and all that good stuff. That'll help to spread the word around. And I appreciate you if you did it for me. All right, sounds good. Everything's good. Then we get money. So again, thank y'all for joining. We got a whole lot happening. A whole lot going on. The security for the inauguration is airtight. I'm talking about like really entirely too tight. 20,000 troops, really. And then they have checkpoints. There was a what was it? It was a guy that got arrested. Hold on. Let's see if I can pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Like I'm already starting to see fake stories. I thought it was a real story, but it was not really real like the way they were said it was. Okay. So matter of fact, I'll put this on Twitter. Okay. The story says, if I can get my Twitter up, that'd be great. There we go. The story says the police arrested a man at a security checkpoint in Washington with an unregistered handgun and 500 rounds of ammunition. Okay, so they said that they said that he gave police fake credentials, like supposed to be press or part of the inauguration. They said it was fake and they turned him away. So they're trying to make it be like, oh, well, we got this guy. He was trying to come into the checkpoint with a bunch of ammunition and shoot at the place. That was not the case. So here's an update. It says the arrest came after a man flashed an unauthorized inauguration credential at a security checkpoint less than a half mile from the Capitol grounds. But the reality is that the guy was a security guard. Okay, he was a security guard, and I guess the police did not recognize the credential that he flashed. But he was supposed to be there. That's why he had the ammunition and the gun, because you know, he was armed security. He was hired by, I'm not really sure who, but he was hired security. So that whole story was fake. You're going to see a lot of stories like that come out here. And that was from New York Times. Okay, you know what? This is a great moment to explain how they operate with the fake stuff. When I say they, I mean the mainstream media. How they shadow the line between real and fake. It's kind of like yellow journalism. And I'm going to explain what's going on. See, the story was real, but at the same time, it was fake because they didn't tell you all the information. It was halfway told. All the details were correct, but at the same time, not. Okay, so they say they arrested him. They did arrest him at a security checkpoint. Security checkpoint was there. He had a gun, 500 rounds of ammo, and he had a credential. Now, the credential was real. They didn't recognize it. He had a gun because he was a security guard, okay? And they arrested him because they thought that he was in the wrong place. But he was supposed to be in the general area, and he was there to do his job, not just to be a rabble rouser. But they put it out there like that. They're saying, oh, man, he was trying to, more of these terrorists trying to take over. Well, nothing like that. He was a hired person to be there doing his job as a professional, period. So be on the lookout for all these fake stories. All right. Yeah, they lie about omission and context. Facts. That's right, Jake. Thank you for that. But yeah, we got a whole lot going on all over the place. And I thank y'all for being here. Definitely like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I think I want to start. Hold on. Matter of fact, before I get to the Biden situation and the minimum wage, let me see if I can find the actual. Let me see if I can find the actual. There it is. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much. It was another blue checker that corrected them. I put it on the screen, but it's kind of small. It just all it says is he was not accused of presenting phony or fabricated credentials. He presented some, and a police officer determined that he wasn't authorized to be in that area. All right, that's all that it was. Okay, so it's a lot of misinformation floating around. Just be prepared. But one thing I will tell you is, don't go to DC. There's no point. They're waiting for you. DC ain't nothing but a trap. They're locking up guys that are supposed to be there. They're locking up security guards. How are you going to be hired to go to a place as a security guard, as armed guard, and still get locked up and got to go to court? So don't go. Unless you live in DC or you got family up there you want to visit, there's no reason for you to be there. They're locking up innocent people for no reason. That's just don't do it. It's a trap. They already said they're waiting on you. They got 20,000 troops up there. I think that's a little bit too much though. Really, 20,000 people. That's a little bit much. All you gotta do is set up a security checkpoints and guard it from the sky. They got drones, helicopters, people on the ground. And the optics are crazy. It looks like it's a third world type inauguration or an election. You know what I'm saying? You see that type of stuff over in parts of Africa and Southeast Asia, stuff like that with dictators. You trying to oust the dictators? Is that what we trying to do here? I don't think so. But that's the way they're making it look. So that's not really a good look for the country. The left may think, oh, yeah, this is appropriate because Trump is a dictator. I mean, how many dictators do you know would just allow themselves to be removed from Twitter? Okay, you think that if he was a dictator, he would just be like, okay, I got deleted from Twitter. I can't do anything about it, but just, make a statement about how free speech is bad. If he was a dictator, you would see some actual action, like some stuff that's not legal over here. You can't do it all. All right. So, no, this whole dictator talk is ridiculous. All right. Completely. But I'll move right along. We got a whole lot happening. So Biden minimum wage. People say that, oh, well, you deserve to get minimum wage if you work full time. That's like I said in my video, that ain't nothing but a dog whistle right there because you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody that is a minimum wage worker that gets full-time hours. That's generally not how that goes. Generally what happens is if you work minimum wage, you're going to get like really paltry hours, 15, 20 hours. Back in the day when I was working like close to minimum wage, when I was a kid, I started at like I think I started at 650. And to us, that was a lot of money because I'm like 16 in high school. That was a lot of money. I had a car. My dad gave me his first RAV4. I'm riding around town. I'm driving to school. I got money. I'm making like $7 an hour at a certain point. I'm rich. to me at least. I'm in high school, 17 years old. I got money. But anyway, back then, I remember the quest for hours was a beast. Can I get some more hours? Can I get some more hours? It was always that. Because you get like 15 hours, 20 hours, 25 hours. You're always trying to get more hours. And the way they got it set up now with Obamacare and all these other benefits, you're not going to get no 40 hours. If you're getting 40 hours on minimum wage, I think you could take that talent, that hard work, and go somewhere else to get a better job. Okay, get some better skills and then dedicate that time to making more money rather than working full-time on minimum wage. But anyway, working full-time on minimum wage kind of defeats the purpose. You don't want to give somebody full-time benefits on minimum wage work or minimum wage pay or healthcare or anything like that. You're going to get 20 to 25 hours, maybe 30, 35 at the most, but really below 30 hours, probably like 29.95. That's what you're going to get. You're not going to get 40 hours. So it's whole thing about, oh, if you work 40 hours and then minimum wage is all bogus. And then they say how much you make based on minimum wage on 15 hours at 40 a week. That's just multiplying the numbers outright and giving the raw number. I mean, it's not taking into account tax and all that kind of stuff that gets taken out of your check. It's not that ain't your pay home. That ain't your take home pay. That's what you. That's what is on paper that you get paid, not how much you actually get paid. It's all bogus. Okay. At the end of the day, if you want to make more money, get better skills, move somewhere else. That's what you got to do. Having a minimum wage of $15 an hour on a federal level is absurd because each place is different. 15 bucks an hour is much more doable in San Francisco, obviously, because you have a lot more money flowing through there. You got buku dinero flowing through there. But if you're living in the middle of Kentucky or West Virginia, parts of Tennessee, Ohio, I mean, it's just not, the economy is just not there. How are you going to be able to do it? The only ones that can do it are the big box stores, Walmart, Target, etc., and Amazon, of course, online. It's the same thing that happened during the pandemic. It's the same exact thing. You close down the small stores because they're deemed as not being essential, right? Like, here's a prime example. You have a shoe store that's closed down because, oh, that's not essential. You don't really need boots or something like that during this pandemic. You don't need boots right now, so we're going to close the boot barn. I don't know if they did close or not. I'm just using it as an example. They closed boot barn, right? Meanwhile, Walmart is deemed as essential, but guess what Walmart also has? They got boots in the corner. So rather than going to the boot barn, you go to Walmart and the boots are right there. You see how that works? They got so many different things in there. It's like you can't really close them. So they're allowed to stay open and do whatever they want to do and make a lot of money. But the small mom and pop shops, the small franchises, the small businesses close down, go out of business, struggle. That's how it's going right now. It'll be the same effect with a higher minimum wage. I remember back in the day, well, back probably about 3 or 4 years ago, when the whole 5 for 15 thing first popped. I remember when you had Walmart saying, yeah, we advocate for a higher minimum wage, like to put it into law. Of course they would, because they want you, meaning small business, regular normie, to raise your wages. But when you do that, you're not going to be able to do it as well as Walmart because the money ain't there. They know that if you're a small business, you can't afford that kind of money to double your payroll, but Walmart can afford it. They don't mind spending $1 billion extra in a year, more than what they would spend on your payroll, in order to get some of the market share that some of the small businesses have. Okay, they'll spend. It's kind of like a corporate. It's kind of like a corporate takeover, really, a hostile takeover. Rather than just acquiring you to eliminate you, they just close you down by using the federal government, by lobbying the federal government to close you down. So they take that market cap, they take that market share, and absorb it into their own company. So yeah, they spend $1 billion in higher wages, but then they got the business from those that close down into their business, so then they make more money. That's kind of how it goes. So now that they've increased their gross profit, maybe even their net profit. That's the objective at the end of the day. All right. Yeah, you're propping up Walmart, you're propping up Amazon, you're propping up Target, talking about, oh, we're fighting for the little guy. The little guy is also a business owner as well. 70% of employees work for small businesses. 99% of businesses are small in the U.S. So the little guy is not who you actually helping. You're helping the big guy and you're hurting the little guy. The little guy's trying to get ahead too. And when he's trying to get ahead, he cannot really do so when you are imposing these very high expenses on him. There shouldn't be any minimum wage at all. There should be zero minimum wage. And whatever you decide to pay somebody, they can accept. I mean, it's like that in other businesses. It's like that if you work Uber, Lyft, or whatever to a certain extent. Okay, whatever you want to make is how much you get paid. If you go out there for an hour and do rides, you get paid whatever an hour can bring you. If you want to go out there for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, that's how much you make. If you hustling, you're doing a good job, it's all on you. What you make is all on you. It's just like me. If I want to make money on my YouTube videos, I got to make videos. If I don't, then I don't. It's as simple as that. I don't get paid by anybody to make these videos. I don't have a deal with somebody where they say, okay, we're paying you a salary, so regardless of what you do, you're getting paid. I don't have that type of thing going on. So if you are trying to get more money, look into doing it that way. There shouldn't be a minimum wage. There's no wage that Google must pay me, and because I'm not an employee, I get a 1099 at the end of the year, and that's where we going 1099. And if you get 1099, basically you are a subcontractor. So whatever you do is on yourself. Same thing with Uber, Lyft. They probably get 1099s as well. You're not an employee. You don't get the benefits, and you got to pay your own taxes and stuff like that. When you're an employee, everything that's taken care of. Okay, your taxes are paid for you. Healthcare sometimes is paid for you. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. A lot of things that you must do on your own as self-employed is done for you as an employee. And then at the end of the year, you get your little W-2 or whatever it is, throw that out and get money back. That's generally how it goes. But they're going to stop doing that because it's becoming very expensive, and you're going to be responsible to make money however you can make it. The gig economy is real. You got to be on these apps doing little side jobs and stuff like that in order to be able to make something happen, because the employees are becoming more and more mobile. Now they got the whole work from home thing. What's the point of having a W-2 employee when you could be at home and you could be anywhere? All right. It makes it easier to offshore as well. That's kind of slick how they did that. Oh, we're gonna promote stay-at-home work. We're gonna promote you to be remote and do whatever you want to do. Okay, so you over here in Atlanta, you over here in Seattle, Washington. How about I get a guy in Hyderabad, India, as well? How about I don't know, Kuala Lumpur or some other faraway place that's not even the U.S. How about that? And then I get them for a fraction of the price I was paying you. I'm paying the guy in Hyderabad, 1/8 of your take home, and I get similar productivity. That's the end result of a higher minimum wage. People that advocate for it, it's funny because they're protesting against the corporations to make them pay them more money, but at the same time they protest the government. The government grants their wish, the corporations grant their wish, but when it's all said and done, you're just making the corporations your only alternative, your only choice, if you want to be an employee and just get paid that way. Because if you did not work for the corporations, you pretty much out there on your own, and it's hard to start a brick and mortar or your own thing. You got to try to work a weird kind of way to kind of trying to hustle up some money. That's kind of what's going on. Back when I was probably about 23, 24 years old, I was one of these oil change places, and a guy came up to me, older black guy came up to me and started complaining out of nowhere about taxes. He was like, man, these taxes are killing me, man. Trying to be a black man out here making it. These taxes are crazy. And I didn't say a word. I'm listening to him because I know that he's saying something I need to hear. And he was talking about how the taxes are so obstructive. It's hard for you to start a business if you don't have a whole lot of money. He had a gas station / corner store in the hood called Shop and Go. If you're from Norfolk, you know what I'm talking about. It's right in the hood, right in Berkeley and other parts of Norfolk. And he was saying that if so many taxes and all that, it makes it hard for you to operate in the low income area. That's going to be the minimum wage. That's another tax, another government regulation, another hurdle you got to get over. So yeah, minimum wage, I'm totally against it. And nobody can challenge me in that debate. If you want to debate me on the minimum wage argument, I'll take calls in about 40 minutes at about 9 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to destroy you in that debate. I've been studying it for years. But yeah, no minimum wage, be free. Don't have so much government regulation. All right. I'm all about smaller government. Smaller government means less regulation, less taxation. All they got to do really is be there just in the background. Okay, we got defense and stuff like that. Okay, you take care of that action. But as far as me making money, I don't need you to be involved. Don't tell me how much money I got to make or how much money I can't make. And all. It's no point. The government does not make money. The government only takes our money and spends it on whatever. Spending it on rest stops just for themselves in the DC metro area. It's spending millions of dollars on. I saw a structure out here where I live in Tennessee. They spent $1 million on what appears to be like little roadblocks. And the roadblocks are fashioned into some kind of art. It's like, okay, they took jersey walls, sprayed some, they took jersey walls and blowtorched it and put some LEDs on it and then called it art. $1 million in the hole. Stuff like that is what they do with your money, your tax money that you earn. How about you don't spend my tax money on that ugly structure? And how about I keep it? How about that? But I digress. Thank y'all for being here. Yet again, you guys are fantastic. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up. I say keep the minimum wage at 725 or abolish it. I mean, really, if I were a king and I could rule by fiat, I say no minimum wage. I say zero minimum wage, period. But if I had to compromise with the normies, I'd say 725. But my decision would be $0 because the market always works out. All right, it always works out because one thing about business is that they compete with each other. So let's say you have a McDonald's, right? And they're paying $5 an hour. And Chick-fil-A is paying $8 an hour. You're going to get all the best employees at the Chick-fil-A because they pay more money. If I'm 16 years old in high school trying to get a job, Chick-fil-A is my first destination. I'm going to get better service, better employees, better everything. So if they want to compete, McDonald's that is, they got to pay more money. And they got to figure out a way to compete. Better food, better customers, better pay for all of that goes into it. So yeah, I would say let the free market play out and have no minimum wage, period. People talking about, exploiting. I mean, there's laws against that. We have a system set up to where you can't really do that when you're talking about employees. And like I said, if you are working a gig type job, Uber, Lyft, or whatever, and a minimum wage, you get paid whatever you can get paid. All right. If you go out and drive for a half hour and you don't get any rides, guess what? You made $0. There's no wage that you get paid for going out there in general and just trying to get rides. You get whatever you're able to get. If you're a good driver and you're getting tips on the app, you're getting more money than the next guy. If you're really motivated, you're a self-starter, take all the rides, you take all the risks. You know what I mean? You go into the hood, like you're in DC and you don't mind going to Maryland at night, you might make more money. That might be your thing. But if you don't want to do that, you'll make less money. I'm all into that. That's going to be the way for the future. Oh, and automation is also a thing. You go to a McDonald's right now, they got the kiosks already set up. I was in DC and they had, not recently, I was not in DC. I'm talking about last year, so don't get it twisted. Don't nobody snitch. But anyway, I was in DC like October, November of 2020, and I went to the McDonald's, had the kiosk right there. So, and matter of fact, they got the apps now. Chick-fil-A app, McDonald's app, just order what you want. Boom, boom, boom. Go in there, get it from the counter or get it from the drive-thru, and you're good to go. So that's how that goes. You're going to accelerate automation, and you're going to eliminate businesses that can't really compete with the higher minimum wage. That's kind of how it goes. Okay. And if you are a very small business, you might be able to automate to save money, but you don't have money to be able to automate. It's very expensive. If you have those kiosks, those things cost. And they look at it, McDonald's has money to be able to do that. They got billions of dollars from the corporate level, not on the franchisee level, but on the corporate level, they got plenty of money. So they look at it like this. Okay, we can spend, X amount of dollars on the kiosks because over a certain period of time, we can make that money back and some based upon the productivity, the lack of, EEOC regulation and being sick and sexual harassment type stuff going on, potential lawsuits, workman's comp. This machine right here is not human. Humans are very expensive to maintain. Out of any business that has employees, the biggest expense is usually the humans. That's kind of how it goes. All right. But I'll move right along. Thank y'all for joining. Let me see. Oh, now we got to talk about the left-wing people being arrested at as a result of the Capitol riot. Nobody's surprised when I was saying that Antifa, BLM, regular lefty normies, weirdos, con artists, and whatnot were at the rally. The media scoffed and said, no, that's you, that's MAGA, that's not anybody else but you. And then my question to them was, how do you know that it's just the quote-unquote MAGA people? How do you know that? Because they got on a MAGA hat? Anybody could put on a MAGA hat. That doesn't mean that they're actually a Trump supporter. They could hate Trump and put on a MAGA hat. You see the vendors out there in D.C. selling Trump stuff. You think they love Trump? You think they're going to say, make America great again? They don't care. It's selling merch. That's it. They don't care nothing about nothing. They might hate Biden. They might not even know who Biden is really or who Trump is. All they know is that these items sell and they're making money. So how can you say that somebody with a MAGA hat on is automatically a Trump supporter? A lot of left-wing guys are getting arrested. The guy that I did a video on, what's his name? Jaden X, aka John Sullivan. And this guy was kind of a strange story. John Sullivan, like I'll put a picture on the screen right quick. Hold on. I'm gonna find a post I want to show you guys. John Sullivan actually trained for the Olympics recently. He was going to be in the Olympics. I think it might have been like this past time he's supposed to be in the Olympics, but didn't go. I'm gonna pull it up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But I don't know. He went from trying to be in the Olympics to becoming a BLM activist to getting locked up for doing crazy things. It was crazy. And he was in a Uber commercial at one point, according to Ian Miles Chong on Twitter. Here's it. That's him right there. So it's like, fam, what are you doing? You go from this to this. What is really happening, sir? What is happening? I do not know what's going on with the guy. But yeah, now he got arrested for inciting the riot. Of course, it wasn't just him inciting the riot. There was a lot of people out there, and it was crazy. He had footage. The footage was crazy. The mass of people was just unheard of. I mean, it wasn't just, coming from one angle or the other angle. They're coming from all angles, like all around the Capitol at different points in time. It was crazy, but he was out there, quote unquote, documenting the whole thing. And when he shouldn't have been there, he's not a member of the press. He has a group called Insurgents USA, which is akin to Black Lives Matter, but not Black Lives Matter. What they do is they go out there and they want to advocate for racial justice and stuff like that. He formed it after the whole George Floyd kerfuffle popped. Now, I don't know if it was a grift, as a cool kid say, or what, but that was him. I don't know how you go from trying to be in the Olympics as an ice skater, I suppose, speed skater. I'm not sure what the exact way to say what this sport is. You guys know in the comments. How do you go from that to this? Is it just, the media? Is it, places of education where he lives? He's from Salt Lake City, Utah. So is that a hotbed of radicalism, Salt Lake City? I mean, they got the Mormons out there. That's pretty much it as far as I know. You got Mormons and snow. I'm not sure if he is actually from there. He might have been up there training because that's a cold place and he has a cold weather sport. I have no idea exactly what he was doing in Salt Lake, if he's from there or what. But at the end of the day, I mean, people are falling into some really dark times, and people saying MK Ultra, I have no idea. Somebody said he's on crack. Hey, you never know. I tell you what, though, he might be on that stuff, but when I heard him in the video, he sounded pretty coherent to me. He sounds pretty coherent. I think that he has just been convinced to do something that maybe he wouldn't have done before. I have no idea, but it's crazy. Yeah, I saw that Olympic gold medalist was at the event as well. Yeah, he was there. But see, the difference is that the guy that was there, I don't know what he was doing, but this guy, Jayden X, was like really in the mix, got his own little organization going, and is like a BLMer, an anti-American type cat. That swimmer guy, he was just in the crowd. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was a BLMer or a Trump supporter or Antifa. I have no idea what's going on with that guy. Oh, yeah, you know what? I'm sorry, JK. You're right on point. Money, big time money. BLM Inc., like the actual company, BLM, they raised $10.6 billion in 6 months in 2020. $10.6 billion. After George Floyd got popped in May, from that point up until the end of the year, $10.6 billion with a B. B as in boy. B as in buku dinero. Bundles of dollars. $1 billion. So if you are an offshoot BLM type organization, to raise 100,000 is nothing. 200,000 is nothing. And I'm not really sure how much being a speed skater pays. Probably not that much. So yeah, you got a point for sure. And you know what? When the money comes in, then you begin to change. He might have been a regular normie, kind of interested in the BLM type stuff. And then once you get in it and the money starts flowing in, it might get to your head. Now you change and become something different. I have no idea. But yeah, that's what's going on with that guy. You go from an Olympic speed skater to now Insurgents USA, Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot, all that good stuff. All right. Yeah, a lot of these guys are on bail or out on bail. That's right. CNN interviewed him. Yeah, they did interview John Sullivan with what's her name? Jade Sacker. And she is an independent filmmaker, allegedly. But people were saying that she worked with CNN. I don't have evidence of her being a CNN employee, but she may work with them. She may have connections on the inside. I won't be surprised because how do you get a CNN interview? Like, you're at the Capitol with thousands of other people. How are you the one that gets a CNN interview like the night of or like the night after? How are you on CNN before you get arrested by the FBI? Like, how does that really work? I don't really know, but that's what it is. All right. And then what else do we have going on? Oh, let's talk about Andrew Cuomo. Now, Andrew Cuomo wants to open up the economy after keeping it closed for the past, 8-9 months. And I think it's a little bit too little too late. Damage has been done. You done lost, 300,000 to 400,000 people in the city alone. If I'm wrong about those numbers, let me know in the comments below. But you've lost hundreds of thousands of people, not because they died. That happened too. That was like right around 30,000 in New York City. But different story. You've lost hundreds of thousands because they've left. They're leaving New York, especially the city, because everything's shut down. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You can't, New York is not really a good place to be. I've been in New York. I didn't like it. If you live there, shout out to you. Nothing against your particular city, your state, but New York City, I don't like. I don't like crowded places like that. I like it to be a little bit more open. It's a little bit. I don't want to be elbow to elbow with you on the street. I'm not really trying to brush up against your peacoat on Fifth Avenue. I really don't want to do it. I want my own little bubble where I can just independently move around and do my own thing. It's hard to do that in a place like New York City. After the pandemic, it's like that. It's kind of a ghost town to a certain extent. But the negative of that, if you live there, you might not want that. You might want the hustle and bustle and crowds and stuff like that. You might want to be able to go to a restaurant, eat inside. You might want to be able to not be overtaken by the rats. Then they said that it was like a big rat infestation, more than normal, because there's no people. Therefore, they're coming out more to try and get food because they're hungry. I mean, that's kind of what I heard. I'm not sure if I'm correct or incorrect, but I don't want to be around nothing like that, okay? I'm good money, expensive. If everything's shut down and you can't work and it's still expensive, what's the point in being there? Real estate is just way too big. It's a big bubble in New York City. People are leaving. They're going to typical places, Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia. They're going other places aside from New York. They're leaving. Same thing with California. They're leaving. They're coming out here to Tennessee. Big time. Nashville is getting out of control. Out of control. Atlanta, been out of control. They're coming out here because they cannot stand their state. It's already expensive. Way too much, personal property tax. I found out recently there's a state tax in New York State and also a city tax in New York City for your income tax. So you got to pay income tax twice. So if you live in Manhattan, you got to pay a New York City income tax and a New York State income tax and your federal income tax. But where I live, I don't pay any. All I do is pay my federal. That's it. No state or city income tax. Who wants to live in a place like that when you can't even work? Just leave and go to Florida. That's what's going on. And so, yeah. So now Andrew Cuomo wants to reverse and say, open the economy up. Same thing with Lori Lightfoot from Chicago. Open the economy up. Now, one would think maybe this was kind of a plan to be a political thing against Trump. Just maybe. The timing is pretty odd, don't you think? I mean, today's January 16th, right? The inauguration is in just less than a week. So why would they say stuff like this right now when Trump is not going to be in office, allegedly? Why would they say that right now? Oh, because they don't want to make Biden look bad. They want to make Trump look bad. So did they really care about killing the whole city? thousands of people losing their shirt behind this. Now they're coming out and saying that lockdowns don't work. They're saying it right now openly on the news. Lockdowns don't work. Shutdowns don't work. I saw a tweet today, probably from Rebel TV out there in Canada, and the guy was saying, with the tweet, it was saying that lockdowns don't work. It came from like an actual, a quote unquote reputable news source. And the guy was like, wow, I got blocked from YouTube for saying the exact same thing a few months ago. But now they're saying that what I was saying was right. We all knew that lockdowns didn't work. Sweden was a prime example of what you can do during this time. They didn't do a full lockdown. They did basic stuff. A little bit distancing, a little bit of mask wearing. If you want to wear it, do it at your own discretion. And they've had a decent time. All right. They had some deaths, but everybody had some deaths. But what they did not have was a collapse of their economy. They're still able to keep on rocking, keep on ticking. Unlike parts of the U.S., now you've got to have this $1.9 trillion virus relief bill on top of the $1 trillion in December, on top of the 1.2 or whatever that was back in the summertime. We're spending like 3.4, 3.5 trillion to try and help with this virus. And people are still locked down. People are still not being able to go back to work the way they normally would. So it may still continue. You may need more of this relief stuff. But if they open back up pretty soon because, you're going to have Joe Biden, then you won't have a need for it anymore. Then they're going to say Joe Biden was the one that got out of this mess. Meanwhile, nothing actually changed except for a different guy in the White House. That's what's going on. So it's crazy to, kill your whole economy because of one guy that you don't like. So you don't mind hurting your own constituents, people that voted for you in Chicago, New York, etc., if it's to hurt this one person. I don't put anything past anybody anymore. I am not surprised. If it came out, that's what happened. That's what they did. I would not be surprised. Not one bit. Not in the least bit. Rebel News. Thank you, Tony. That's what I was talking about. Rebel News were the people that were saying that they got blocked for saying the exact same thing that came out from the quote-unquote official news sources. All right. Matter of fact, if I could find that right quick, I'll put it up on the screen. Let me see. Shout out to Ezra Levant. And hold on. I'm going to find that. He has some riot stuff going on here. I don't know what's happening with that. But yeah, thank y'all for being here yet again. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff if you would. I'd appreciate it if you did that. If you're not subscribed for whatever the reason may be, maybe you got unsubscribed for, any random reason. It could have been YouTube doing something. It might have been a little butt dial situation. Go ahead and subscribe to me right now and click that bell where you're at it so you get notified whenever I go live and or post a new video. All right. So what else we got going on? Oh, did you guys see that you had 23 deaths because of the virus vaccine in Norway? I'm gonna pull it up right quick. And this is on New York Post. If I could find a New York Post one, that's what I want. But I'll pull this one up here. Same thing. This is Times of India, but it's the same thing. It was also on New York Post. So 23 died in Norway after receiving Pfizer vaccine. 13 were nursing home patients. So that's pretty serious. I don't want to turn my ad blocker off, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But yeah, I don't really want that. I think that we all know that you have this brand new vaccine that may not be all the way tested properly, and it might cause some problems. Just maybe. Okay. I'm gonna find the post. There we go. Okay, here it is. This is on New York Post, a conservative paper. It's not some kind of left-wing propaganda. And it's right here. 23 died in Norway after receiving Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. All right. Now, I'm going to read some of the article just to give you some context so I don't just put out stuff and have you be wondering what's going on. It says 13 of those deaths, all nursing home patients, apparently related to the side effects of the shots. Common reactions to the vaccine, fever, nausea, may have contributed to a fatal outcome in some frail patients. Okay, all 13 were nursing home patients with at least 80 years old. While officials aren't expressing serious concern, they are adjusting their guidance on who should receive the vaccine. So they're not concerned, but they are changing what they're doing as a result of all the deaths. It said it right there in the article. All right. The news comes just over a week after officials reported the deaths of just 2 nursing home residents after they received the Pfizer jab. All right. So now they say that 30,000 people got it, at least the first round of it in Norway. But with 29 deaths, it's kind of high. And my thing is, here's a question. Would they have died if they didn't get the vaccine? That's my question. Because if you're over 80 years old, some of them are over 80 years old, not everybody. They said 13 of the 23. So at least 10 were not 80 years old and frail in a nursing home. But if they didn't get the vaccine, would they still have lived? I mean, did it shorten their life by a dramatic amount? That's what I want to know. Because if that's the case, I don't want it. I mean, regardless of what, I'm not going to get it. But if that's true, I'm most certainly not going to get it. Like, you can't force me to get it because I value my life, period. All right. But yeah, that actually is going on. Again, that's on NewYorkPost.com. NY Post. Check it out for yourself. And then what else we got going on? Oh, let's talk about back to Cuomo to finish that up right quick. I feel like these guys, Cuomo, Lightfoot, etc., may have thrown their own constituency into the fire just for some political points to gain some gotcha points on their side, which is really pretty despicable. Now, Don Lemon says that if you are a Trump supporter, you enable the Klan, you enable white supremacists, you enable the racists. Now, he had like a little back and forth between him and Chris Cuomo, Fredo Cuomo. And Fredo was like, hey, you can't just say everybody's a racist or whatever. And he's like, well, you're walking with him. Stop walking with him. This whole thing with the Capitol riot has been way overblown. I'm against all rioting, period. But I'm equally against the BLM stuff. A guy like Don Lemon will totally ignore the BLM stuff. CNN will totally ignore the BLM stuff. I mean, the picture that I always bring up is this one, because it really it sums it up. It sums up how CNN will totally ignore the BLM stuff, but go overboard when it comes to anything that we allegedly do. All right. Now, here it is. This is perfect. All right. I'm gonna put it on the screen. I'm gonna never stop using this one. We'll never get old. Fiery but mostly peaceful protests after police shooting. That's what it says on the lower third. This is from CNN. This is during the whole Kenosha kerfuffle. All right, you have a reporter with I don't know if it's an N95 or what that is, what kind of mask he has around his neck. He's not wearing it. He also has like ski goggles on top of his head. So he has like some kind of makeshift artillery over his face. Not on his body. He has like a regular polo on. That's kind of a weird thing. You got this military style book bag with this crazy mask and some goggles, but a short sleeve polo. Like, are you going to battle or to the golf club? What's going on? But anyway, you see the lower third, fiery, mostly peaceful protests, and behind him you have cars charred on fire, literally behind him. This is not a green screen. He's right there. Okay, and you got chaos going on behind him. So I'm like, okay, man, like, stop this, sir. How are you going to tell me that it's mostly peaceful when I see devastation behind me? You look like you just came, it appears like you were in Kabul, Afghanistan or something like that after a terror attack. That's what's going on. How is this mostly peaceful? If they saw that kind of scene at the Capitol riot, they would not say anything about mostly peaceful or anything of the sort. Not in the least bit. And then they want to say, oh, there's only property damage, ABL, only property damage. Well, how many people died as a result of these BLM riots? Dozens. Old men, little girls, everybody in between. Okay, so it shows you the hypocrisy of the left, of CNN. And back to Don Lemon, or how my man Jericho would say, Don Lemon, that what he say? Back to him. He's always talking about white man this, white man that. Meanwhile, you married to a whole white man, sir. You got a whole white man in your bed every night. So it's like, all right, you're talking about, it's always like that too. Always. Anytime you see somebody talking about, how much they hate the white man, it's usually they got a white spouse, mixed kids. Nothing against that, but it's like, why so hypocritical? What's the point? Just stop being so fake. Obviously, you love people that are white because you have a white wife or a white husband and you got mixed kids. What's the problem? Love everybody. Stop being fake. That's not limit for you right there. Just exaggerating, going above and beyond, talking about you support racists in the Klan. The racists, if anywhere, are on the left. That's a fact. I never got called so many N-words in my life before I became a conservative. When I was on the left, and I would battle those on the right just in little online forums and whatnot, I never got any racism. It was like, man, learn how to read, that type of stuff. It wasn't N-word this, N-word that. I never got that. But now I'm on the right. Oh, the white liberals especially, they're the main ones to do it to you from an anonymous avatar. N-word, N-word, N-word all day. That's what you get. So who are the racists? If there are any racists, where do they live? Now, I'm not saying everybody on the left is a racist. Regular normies on the left are not racist, but you got quite a few over there that are. And if you have extremists on both sides, which side has more extremists? That's what I want to know. But I move right along. Yeah, so shout out to the Comedy News Network, Clinton News Network, Creative News Network, Not Real News Network. All right, and we got some more topics on deck, and then super chats, and then I'll move on. I think I got everything. I got the minimum wage, left wing arrest, Fredo Cuomo, Don Lemon. There's a whole lot happening. I just kind of touched on a few things there. Okay. Oh yeah, White Lash. Yeah, I remember that, Larch. White Lash. That was a funny one. Van Jones talking about, oh, this was a white lash. Talking about the election, if I'm not mistaken. This is a white lash. Meanwhile, you got a whole white wife and the whole family of mixed kids. It's like, sir, stop this now. Stop all this race hustling. And Van Jones is like, he goes from one place to another. He'll be cool and on your side, and then it's like a fence rider. I don't like people like that. Just pick one side and stick to it. Pick one way to be and be consistent, period. Don't just, hop the fence whenever it feels politically expedient to do so. All right. So I'm going to read some of the comments here because I saw something I wanted to see. I just didn't really, I just lost it, but I did want to comment on it. Are you serious? AOC only speaks English? I don't know what she speaks. That probably wasn't for me, though. I think AOC speaks some Spanish, but I'm not sure if she's fluent in Spanish. But she may be. I don't know. I'll presume that she is because her parents are Puerto Rican, but you never know how that goes. All right. Antifa got arrested. Is that right? Where at? I mean, they always get arrested, but the problem is that when they get arrested, they get let out pretty quick because they get arrested in liberal areas. And if you get arrested in a liberal area, good luck keeping them in jail. Like New York City, if you get arrested in New York City for even manslaughter, you're getting let out almost immediately. Almost immediately, they let you out because of ACAB and no cash bail, meaning you won't get remanded even for a very serious crime like manslaughter and let you go on zero bail. All right, okay, what's the crime? Manslaughter? You killed 3 people? All righty. Go on about your business. We'll call you back in a minute when it's time for court. And if they blow trial, and they got to go find them and all that kind of dumb stuff. But it could have just been locked up and remanded and not let out to terrorize anybody else or to blow trial and try to go to Carolina or Philly or something like that. But I digress. All right. So super chats on deck, and we're going to get to some more. We'll get to the phone calls after this one here. Shout out to Charles Turner Jr. who says the 15 minimum wage has been in effect for almost 4 years in Seattle. It has had nothing but detrimental effects on businesses. Exactly. That's how it goes. It's always something bad. When you have the very high minimum wage like that, it does not work out. That's just what it is. Shout out to Apu with a few super chats I'm going to read right quick, who says, ABL, how long before we see Trump miss me yet memes? Oh, they're going to come immediately. As soon as they have the $15 minimum wage in the caravan, oh, Biden also says he wants to have 11 million illegal aliens become citizens. But we all know if you've been here long enough, it's not 11 million, it's about 30 million at least. Okay? 30 million illegal aliens. It's a caravan coming right now, too, from Honduras. They're coming right now, 6,000 deep. And when they're on they were interviewed on the caravan, and they were citing some of Joe Biden's words. People think that, okay, if you live in Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Mexico, that you don't have TV, you're living in straw huts. No, they got TV. They got all that down there. They got cell phones, internet, TV. They got the whole 9 yards. Yeah, they poor, but they can get information. Trust me. And when they see that Joe Biden could be the next guy in there, you're talking about amnesty. Oh, they're coming immediately because they want to get in before the cutoff. It's so simple and easy to understand this stuff, but people just don't really, on the left, don't think too much. Not everybody on the left, but some on the left, they don't really think. The average, normally on the left, does not really think like that. They don't really put it together that way. All right. Shout out to Apple, who also says, ABL, how long before Miss Harris becomes president? I say 6 months to a year. 6 months to a year, they're going to say that Joe Biden is not really feeling well. He needs to rest, stay home with his grandkids, all this, that, and the third. 6 months to a year. Bet that. Shout out. He also says, what's the motivation of Ayanna Pressley? Ayanna Pressley is part of a greater organization called Justice Democrats and also Brand New Congress. That's AOC, Ilhan Omar. Their purpose is to divert the Democratic Party all the way far to the left. They want to take over the Democratic Party, make it become communist. That's the ultimate goal, is to have the Democrats become the Communist Party and have it be one party rule under the Communist Party. They want to be China. That's the ultimate goal. If you see AOC and all of the people wearing like little dog whistles, Chairman Mao, all that type, Great Leap Forward, you might see that kind of stuff happening pretty soon. If you do, don't be surprised. Zachary says 15 isn't high enough. 20 is good for all Americans. I hate Biden, but this is a positive. If you can't afford it, you shouldn't be in business. Okay, so Zachary says, hey, the minimum wage is a good thing. Matter of fact, not $15 an hour. I want $20 an hour. And matter of fact, if you can't afford $20 an hour, you shouldn't be in business. In my video, I don't know if you saw it, sir, but I said that is an elitist point of view. Hey, you know what? I got money. I'm Bill Gates. I'm Elon Musk. I'm worth 100 billion liquid. I got that in my pocket. I got 20 ass toilet paper right now in my bathroom on my gold toilet. I can pay my employees $1 million an hour. You can't. Stop being poor, brokey. That's kind of the energy I get from you right there. If you don't have a whole lot of money, you don't need to be in business. Okay. If you have next to no money, you're trying to start some kind of small business, a cleaning service, a dog shampooer, dog walker, barber shop, whatever. You don't deserve to be in business if you can't pay $20 an hour. That's an elitist point of view. And it's also something that you got to tell the employees that don't mind making $7.25 or $8. So tell them they don't make enough money. And because they don't make enough money, they got to get fired from their job because their employer is a brokey and he can't afford to pay anything. So tell them that their job is no longer going to be there. Because you just trying to shame somebody by using that kind of language is not going to make them be able to afford it. All they're going to do is go out of business. And the people that are going to pick up the slack are going to be Walmart, Target, Amazon, etc. Because they got money and they can afford to pay whatever for the most part. Walmart, $15 an hour. Amazon, same thing. They can already do it because they got the money. Meanwhile, you or regular normie cannot do it depending upon what you're doing. If you got a burger joint, it's family owned, you've been around 40 years, you've been paying like $8, $9 an hour and everybody's happy. And here you come, Zachary from nowhere talking about, oh, that ain't enough. And then they got to close down. Everybody's sad. The owner's crying, customers crying, employees crying, all because Zachary said, oh, this is inappropriate. I'm an elitist. You guys got to make more money. So because you think you got to make more money, they make no money. And everybody's sad as a result. But I digress. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Apple also says, ABL, who is your preference for the Republican presidential nominees of 2024? Kristi Noem, Tim Scott, Ben Carson, Mike Pompeo, Ron DeSantis. I like Ron DeSantis a lot. He's doing a bang up job in Florida. Bang up job. The best governor, period, in the union is Ron DeSantis. All right. I like Ben Carson and Tim Scott too, and Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem was okay. But Ron DeSantis, that's my top pick right there. You know, but you know what? I don't want to take him away from Florida because he's a really good governor. He's the best right now out of everybody, beyond Bill Lee, beyond everybody. He's the best. Apple also says, God bless President Trump. He took on rhinos, crooked Democrats, never Trumpers, the swamp, ISIS, Hollywood, big tech, Antifa, BLM, and a plague. Thank you. And you know what? He's been through a lot over the past 4 years. He's had a whirlwind. It's always something. First it was Russia, then it was Ukraine, then it was Stormy Daniels, then it was the Supreme Court justices and Brett Kavanaugh and all these allegations and then here come the plague that killed the whole world. He went through a lot, and he didn't have to. He could have just stayed being a private citizen, hanging out, going golfing, building buildings. He could have done that. So shout out to Trump for, giving his all. I say he gave everything he had. He put it all out there. It was like Jordan during the flu game. He put it all out there, and that's all you can really ask for. So shout out to Trump for doing that, for sure. I'll tell you what, though. He did a million times better than Hillary Clinton would have done. Light years beyond Hillary Clinton, and that's facts. Pence is not a Judas. Stop saying that. Pence couldn't have done more than what he did. Trump was just trying to exhaust every avenue that he thought might have been possible. But Pence could not actually do anything beyond what he said in the letter. The law would prevent him from doing it. So he just couldn't. It's not his fault. Let me see. Go says more people are watching your live stream right now, ABL, than watching the inauguration special on Joe Biden's channel. That's hilarious. Nobody's enthusiastic about Joe Biden. Nobody really cares about Joe Biden at all. People voted for him out of spite, the same way Hillary Clinton got voted for out of spite. Now, the number of votes, I don't know what the actual number is, so I can't comment on that. But I will say it's kind of sketchy. Apple also says it took a pandemic, race riots, fake media, and betrayal to defeat Mr. Trump, but it ain't over. MAGA will come back stronger than ever and win. There you go. Shout out to Rigel, who says, keep America great. Squish 300 ZTT says, thoughts on Fox News contributor Hugh Jassol stating that Capitol Police complicit in letting protesters in the White House. I've seen some of that, but I don't know how true that is. I don't know. Like, I saw some of the doors getting open, but I don't know what's really going on with that or why they did it. I don't have an explanation for what's going on, so I can't really say. But I did see some videos kind of questionable. It's like, okay, you're opening doors. What's going on with that? Now, I did see some doors get broken into. Like, literally, the glass broken, the wood broken. I saw that as well. So it's so much going on. I don't really know where to begin to try and place blame. So, but thank you for that. Shout out to the Alpha and the Omega who says, can you show the viewer the troops pick on Patricia Dixon's YouTube community page? Please, ridiculous. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can go there right quick. Patricia Dixon. And let me see if I can go. Oh, yeah. I mean, that ain't nothing that we ain't already seen. You got guys laying on the ground. Yeah, this picture right here. Yeah, I've seen that already. With some of the guys laying on the ground. These some of the guys that were in the building. That's your boy right there. The speed skater. Jaden X, aka John Sullivan. Another guy who was there, gold-tooth rapper type dude. And then there was some of the National Guard on the ground. It was crazy. 25,000 troops. Come on, overkill. Way overkill. You don't need that much. All you need is a competent plan to be able to make sure that the Capitol is safe. All right, that was just a show of force. That's all. And let me get some more here. Let me see. All right. Thank you to Kalia, who says, God bless you. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Apple, who says, ABO, did you see the video of the lady confronting Senator Schumer? You might not agree with everything she says, but it was awesome to see. Uh, that was a dude. Dude looks like a lady. That was a dude. But yeah, that was crazy. That was a wild. I've seen her before in that same area in New York City. She's really like active. She was out there throwing paint on the BLM sign, similar to Bevelin. So shout out to him, her, whatever they want to be called. Shout out to Cal who says Biden's donors don't want competition. There you go. Absolutely. That's facts. Talking about Amazon, Walmart, Target, all them. Yeah, raise minimum wage up because they can pay it. They're already paying it, matter of fact. But they know if you're a small guy, you cannot afford to pay it. And it'll just get washed away. And the competition, that traffic that was going there, would go to the big box stores. We're getting like idiocracy where you had that one giant big box with everything in it. It was so big, it was like a bazaar in there. But I digress. Shout out to Dan for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Matthew who says, thanks for giving a shout out to Rebel News. They have a Fight the Fines campaign, crowdfunding lawyer fees to fight COVID lockdown fines in Canada, and recently branched out to Australia. Shout out to them. Ian says, you need to put that statement about racist to and the left into a small clip and upload it. I think I will do that. Shout out to Stacey Felice who says, did you see the woman in the pink at the Capitol on January 6th? She used a battering ram to break the window, and she used a bullhorn to tell the non-Trump supporters what to do inside. Wow. No, I did not see that. I'm going to check it out. Thank you for that tip. Thank you to Doug Ripley who says, did you see a guy at the Capitol wearing his work badge and got fired? You got to be a stupid you-know-what to get fired on your day off. Like, what kind of guy would do that? I mean, you were seeing people just getting caught up in the whole mob mentality, caught up in the moment, because you would think, okay, if you're going to quote unquote storm the Capitol, you can wear a mask right now because of the pandemic, and nobody would think twice. So maybe cover your face up, wear a mask. Maybe don't wear your own badge with your name on it. Maybe don't do that. Okay. Try to stay kind of incognito, but they ain't do that. So it is what it is. It got locked up. Shout out to Ian who says Harold Ford Jr. seen on Fox News with a Mao painting in the background. Yeah, I saw that. I put that in my video, matter of fact. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Harold Ford Jr. is a well-known guy from Memphis. And believe it or not, he's black too. Hold on, I'm gonna put it up. And yeah, that's him right there. He's from a well-known family in Memphis, a political family, and you see the picture of Mao right there on his wall. It's his house. And he is black, believe it or not. Okay, so I don't know what that's all about. Maybe that's like the elite thing to do, to have a picture of Mao. But why would you have a picture of Mao right above your fireplace mantle? Like, that's the center of the room. That's the heart of the room. Why would that be right there? I could see maybe if you had like an art collection and that was like in the garage, maybe to give you the benefit of the doubt, to give you a little bit of bail. But above your fireplace mantle, why? Maybe because you want to be like him. I said that earlier in the stream today. I was like, they want to be like Mao, great leap forward. You're going to see things like this coming up. Little dog whistles or bullhorns, really. This ain't no dog. This is a straight bullhorn. Like, yeah, I support Mao Zedong. It's above my fireplace mantle. I got little trinkets below it. So I did this on purpose to show you what's going on. He could have been in any room in this house. Probably has a nice big house, big ceilings. I see the recessed lights in the ceiling. He could have been anywhere in the house with you right there, right next to the Mao painting. Not a coincidence in my humble opinion, but I digress. All right. And then my thing would be, if he goes on Fox, maybe they would tell him, hey, you see that Mao painting in the background? What's going on? Yes, he is black. Yes, he is. Believe it or not. And it shouldn't matter, but it does on their side. So if somebody says, hey, what's up with that Mao painting? Are you being racist? It's like, nah, Mao is not white, neither is he. So where's I don't really get the racism, but I'll move on. Okay, super chats. I'm gonna get to the rest, and then we'll move to the calls. Let me see. Joe Ryder 84 says Trump is a hero. He stood up against the evils of the world. We got to put him a hero's welcome. There you go. Alex says, hi, ABO. Would you be interested in a distributed social media protocol and website? I'll make one for you if you're interested. Well, man, I see what you got, man. Send me an email, contact at anthonyblogan.com. Send me what you got, man. I'm interested in seeing just what's going on with it. Shout out to Jane who says the Belt Parkway in Brooklyn on the overhead alert broads Oh, hold on. The Belt Parkway in Brooklyn on their overhead alert broads to turn in their neighbors who was there on January 6th. Wow, that's crazy. Shout out to Kevin for your donation. I appreciate you, boss. Alrighty. We got a whole lot going on. A lot of calls are going to be on deck. I'm going to get to those right now. The number to call is 434-658-1220. If you want to get in through Skype, there's an email for that in the description box. You be right here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen talking about whatever's going on, and we'll get to it. Yeah, you're going to see a lot more coming up. You're going to see a lot more Mao and communist stuff. There was a mayor or candidate in Portland, if I'm not mistaken, or Friata, one of those places, and she had on the dress with a bunch of communist figures on it, Pol Pot and Mao, like prominent right on it, and like in the open on a sunny day, taking pictures. So they're not even hiding what they are. They're not even hiding it. The lady from Black Lives Matter said, "We are trained Marxists." She said it on TV. They're not hiding it. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is me just reporting what they're doing. I'm showing you the man's room, his living room with Mao above the fireplace mantle. They're not hiding it. Okay, I don't like to report too much on things I think. I'll give you what I know. If I say that the lady from BLM said we're trained Marxists, I'll show you the clip, and you can hear it say it for yourself. If I say that the guy Harold Ford Jr. had a picture of Mao in his house, I'll show you the picture. You can see it for yourself. I saw that Darnell McGavick saying, thank you for your donation. He says that Bill Gates is the largest farmland owner now. I saw that. Very interesting. Now, my question is why? What are you trying to do? You trying to get some kind of like, sustainable growth type thing, some kind of experiments? What are you trying to grow out there in those farms? Some medicinal ingredients. What's happening? Because you're not gonna only grow farms on those lands. It could be you trying to have control of food. What's going on with Bill Gates and the whole farm situation? I don't really know. Okay, you could grow food. You can grow pharmaceutical ingredients, all that kind of stuff on the farm. So I don't know what his actual goal is, what his objective is, but if it's Bill Gates, I'm kind of suspicious, regardless, all the time. All right, let's get to the calls here. Can I hear it? Okay, what's going on? For some reason, I can't hear that audio. Let's try to get that going back normal. Okay, cannot hear at all on that one. That's weird. Let's try this one more time. I have to go ahead and restart Skype. Skype acting up again, of course, as always. Somebody said Ivan with a bunch of red phones. That's funny. Okay, I'm gonna try to answer this here and see if it'll work. Oh, I think I know what's going on. Maybe they saved my settings. Wow. For once, they saved my actual. That'd be fantastic if they saved my settings. Okay, they did save my settings. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and get it. All right, I'm on. All right, you're on line speaker to 207.
Hey, ABL, how are you, my man?
I can't complain too much, man. What's going on?
Good. This is Mike calling from way up in Maine.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Nothing. Just wanted to say I appreciate everything you do, man. I actually started my own YouTube channel a few months ago, and you gave it a shout out. I sent you a super chat a little while ago. You gave it a shout out. I really appreciate that. And I just wanted to get your opinion on the whole DC situation. You really think that's just for the inauguration, or you think there's something bigger going on, or what?
An inauguration because they're trying to show force, in my opinion, because it's kind of overkill. You don't need that much. They're trying to get they got 25,000 down there. They don't need that. Maybe they think there could be an outside force that comes in during the inauguration because it's kind of a vulnerable time. I don't really know. But I don't think
Yeah,
that it's just for I don't think it's just for just regular people. They could be getting ready for a more organized type thing going on.
I was thinking. I mean, it can't. If you look at what happened at the Capitol, you had a small handful of kind of unorganized people. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But listen, man, I appreciate it. I'm really glad I got through, and I just want to say thank you for everything you do, man. You're one of my main sources for what's going on in the world. Like your thing says, a common sense conservative. So common sense and logic, I come to you. So thank you so much. I appreciate everything you do, brother.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, take care, my man.
Shout out to the caller. Great call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box below. There's also a Skype email. You can contact me on that. That should be in the box below as well. You can be right there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen talking about whatever's going on. Let's get to a few more here. And let's go 615 you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes. Hey, ABL. I got to tell you something. When you hear all those politicians being elected now, it seems like they're all being all these social activists, just people off the streets. You always see, it's just kind of beyond weird. Do you think possibly that we should have, a law maybe requiring people to have some kind of intelligence or something? That's just for me.
Well, I mean, that'd be nice, but it's kind of hard to gauge it because you know what? The thing is that these people in Congress are very smart. All of them are very smart, but the question is, how are they using their intelligence for good or for evil? That's the problem. That's the issue we're dealing with. They're smart because they know how to manipulate people, take advantage of them and their voters, tell them whatever they want to hear, set things up. And they also are surrounded by smart people as well. They got smart interns and smart everything. They're surrounded by smart people, but they don't use their intelligence properly. That's the main thing we got to be worried about.
Yeah, because I'm just afraid that if somebody says is going to say the right stuff, I'm more reporting on the left. It just seems like people are just out there just voting because their feelings are not really using their brains. But yeah, they're smart enough to be elected and everything.
Yeah.
But it's just strange how I was just looking at the impeachment and everything, and they're like they're reasoning, well, I'm against him because he's a white supremacist and everything. I'm like, you're just doing it because you're doing it based off your feelings. You're not really grasping that out of anything like that, and it's just one thing is on my mind. But yeah, I live in the great state of Tennessee, just a little bit outside of Nashville. So I appreciate my state, voting red and not giving into all the liberal Democrats. But if you go down to East Nashville, it's almost like it's I get it, it's a big city and everything, but it's kind of in your face, kind of liberal,
Right.
And you see all the signs and everything. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like they're almost, they're almost pretty much communist, to be honest with you.
Right.
Kind of liberal.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. Yeah. All right. Well, you take care, ABL.
All right. Same to you.
I love your show.
Thank you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, the whole thing about what I was saying, you got a lot of smart people. Now, I'm going to kind of retract that a little bit. I say that a lot of them are very smart. Somebody like AOC is smart enough to have people around her that are smart to tell her what to do. She has a smart team. Put it to you like that. The whole brand new Congress and Justice Democrats, they're very smart people that are backing them. That's all that really matters. The front people are just like just hand puppets, really. They do whatever they get told from the back end. So that's what's going on. A lot of these people in office are smart, but some of them aren't really smart. They got a smart team behind them. Like, who was that guy? Hank Johnson talking about Guam might tip over. I mean, a regular rocket scientist, but it doesn't really matter when you got a smart team around you. That's the main thing. But I'll move right along. All right, 540, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes, who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Jason from Virginia. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain. How about yourself?
Not bad. It was a good Saturday afternoon. It was cold, so there wasn't much to do with the kids. Yeah, I guess the reason why I was calling was I was watching your video earlier about the minimum wage,
Yeah.
and kind of got me thinking. I mean, we've been doing quite a bit of borrowing over the last decade or more, and I'm kind of wondering, nobody in Washington is really talking about it. Nobody's really explaining what the effects of all this borrowing is going to be, the spending. What do we have to look forward to? I mean, what do you think will happen, when we have to start paying up? I mean, will we have to start paying up? I'm trying to think, I've heard that, when we all start going back to work, people are going to go into restaurants. This is what Michael Saylor was saying. We're going to go into restaurants and maybe what you order is going to be twice as much, or things that take up space are going to cost quite as much or a lot more. And that's where you're going to kind of see the effects of inflation. But I mean, what have you heard? Do you know what we have to look forward to?
Well, I mean, you can only guess really, but I mean, I think that we all know when you start to print money and you do it a lot, and it can only end with inflation. You keep putting out this fiat currency over and over. Is no regulation on how much you put out there. It becomes it's not really scarce. Everybody has it. All you're gonna do is just create inflation, and then with the cost of things being more with the higher minimum wage, you're definitely going to create inflation. It's just a bad mix. So it's going to end up happening. It's happening now already, really. You see inflation happen. We're getting cheaper products sometimes for the same price we had it before or for a higher price. We're getting a lot of Chinese stuff, a lot of cheap Chinese stuff, and we're not really paying that much less than we paid previously. So even if people don't see inflation as far as sticker shock on a particular item, they don't really understand that what they're getting is cheaper than what it would have been before. They're getting less quality sometimes.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm thinking about, how can I possibly plan for the future? How can I, inflation proof myself? And as far as I understand, don't they cap how much, the effects of inflation are? Isn't it we can only inflate the dollar a certain percentage per year? Is that how it works?
Nah, I mean, it can. There's no real regulation on how much it can inflate because inflation is just about the scarcity of money. So you keep printing more and more, you're gonna have inflation. Trying to be inflation proof is kind of a hard thing. It's kind of hard to really do that. All you can really do is just have assets that maybe would appreciate. So if there is inflation, what you have is going to increase in value rather than decrease in value. It's kind of controversial to say, real estate, because that might kind of go down, but it may go up. And regardless of what's going on, if you have hyperinflation or a thing akin to that in the U.S., if you have real estate now, it's going to cost you more in the future. So it's definitely going to go up in value, even if the value is kind of artificial because of the inflation. Either way it goes, I say have assets, things that appreciate rather than depreciate, and try to save whenever you can. But beyond that, it's kind of hard to be inflation proof.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, you too. Love the show.
All right,
Take
now.
it easy.
All right. So, yeah, you guys let me know what's the best way to be inflation proof or to try to be inflation proof. Okay. Gold is good, but gold is not scarce because, I mean, maybe it can help you, but if you're talking about trying to prep and if society falls apart, gold not going to help you. You got to have ammunition and weapons in that situation, and water and food, that type of thing. That's what you need rather than currency, or you got to have a skill to be able to invest. maybe have some gold, but I'm not really sure what you're going to do with that in, a fallout type situation where people are trying to scavenge for food. It might not really work. Land, gold, everybody's saying gold. Well, hey, I take you guys' word for it. Hey, yeah, crypto's not going to help you at all. Crypto, because if you're talking about fallout situation, what you going to do with crypto with no electricity? And crypto is only worth what you're able to get for it in US dollars as of right now. Maybe it'll be worth more in the future, but right now, the only reason why you would have crypto is to sell it like a stock. That's the only reason why I got it, is to sell it. If it goes high, if they want it, I'll sell it. If it goes low, then I'm losing money. That's just all that it is. They said gold and silver, land, ammo. So I'm seeing the main things in the chat. Even copper. Copper, that's a good point too. That's kind of a scarce thing sometimes. But water, food, copper, gold, silver, ammo, land, weapons, that type of thing. All right. Hold on. Let's go. 573 on the line. I'm speaking to. Hello, 573.
Hello?
Yes, caller. Who am I speaking to?
Tyler.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Oh, doing well. I've talked to you once before. I put in about 13 years in talk radio back in the day, and I followed politics for probably 27 years now. And one of the things that's really kind of saddening about this loss for Donald Trump is how far are we going to go back with race relations with Biden and Harris in office? I'm not trying to attribute that solely to either political party as far as going forward or going backwards in race relations, but I think we were seeing some strides with the Trump administration, things he was doing as far as the historical black colleges and other leaps and bounds that we were achieving. And it just seems like we're going to ruin all of that. I mean, the anecdotal evidence was out there. Any number of black conservative YouTube programs. We saw other things with just the increase of African-American support, according to 3 different polls for Trump. And I just can't help but think how far we're going to go back. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think what's happening is that you're going to have some people that go further into this rabbit hole they already were in, as far as being on the left and being this whole, all this racism stuff. And you're going to have others that go the other way who don't like what Biden is doing and who are already kind of on the fence and leaning more towards the right. It's going to be kind of a fracture. I'm not really sure that Biden will contribute to more division. I think, he won't contribute to new division, put it like that. He'll just kind of sharpen what's already there, but he won't create more of it, in my opinion.
I've seen several people, and this is anecdotal once again, just on YouTube channel forums, that they think that race relations were pretty good in the 1990s. Now, that may be predominantly white people. Sometimes these are faceless individuals, so we don't know who we're talking to. I kind of agree with that. I realized I lived in kind of the flyover country, and when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, it was not uncommon to hear older adults maybe drop that N-bomb in private conversation or make racial stereotypical jokes, and I don't condone any of that. And occasionally you still hear it. I think in my travels, and I'm nearly 50, I haven't heard as much of it anymore. I do hear some people, generally older, that sometimes refer to people who may be committing crimes in the inner cities or some of the BLM violence that drop those N-bombs. They think you're a part of the white club, so they can just say that in front of you. I see a little bit of that, but I think it's a dull roar or a whisper at best, especially in the 21st century. I don't see it as much of a problem. And, I can't help but think what people really went through back in the 60s or 50s or whatever. I thank every veteran I see. And just a little anecdote here, just to kind of put things in perspective. I came across an African-American gentleman at a chain dollar store. He had a Thank a Veteran hat on. Just take this for what you will. And I thanked him, and we shook hands, and he looked about late 60s, early 70s. And I swear on my children, he said, I was there. And he starts telling me about his time And I quickly figured out it was Vietnam he was talking about. He said walking in somewhere and seeing kids with things strapped to him, and he made a pulling motion. And I couldn't believe I was having this discussion with this guy in a dollar store. And he made this pulling motion as if the kids were setting up. So he's talking about going into a village in Nam, and he makes this sweeping motion with his arm and a machine gun sound, probably an M14 or an M16. And then he had to do what he had to do. He told me this right in the middle of a dollar store. And I'm thinking, this guy served his country when his country didn't serve him. And now we have people, and I'm not saying there's no racism now. Clearly there is, and there always will be. But put that in your pipe and smoke it sometimes, folks. When you think about you've got it bad, just think about some of these guys that served their country or that were serving the Confederacy in the Civil War. I mean, I really want things to improve, and I thought we were improving. I just hope we don't get set back, ABL, for what it's worth.
You make a very good point. Absolutely. We did make strides a lot in the 80s and 90s. When I was a kid, this whole thing about race wasn't a problem. It just wasn't really an issue. Everybody's pretty much cool, at least from my point of view. And I'm in the black area. I'll be around whites, blacks, or whatever. And it wasn't really this big thing. But now it's like, I feel like a lot of the outrage and whatnot is kind of manufactured for money. And people kind of believe it because they're on their phones a lot and they just take in whatever. If they want to believe that their life is not going right because it's the white man's fault, they internalize it. And then they go out there and act on it, and then that creates division. So I think you're right about that. But hopefully this goes in the other direction.
Oh, yeah. And, clearly to me, I think they had to shut Trump down, at least on a secondary level. The anecdotal evidence was out there. This rise in, at least with black males and maybe some black females, whether it's you, whether it's Candace Owens, Jericho Green, and others who have joined our side of the aisle. And clearly you can be on the Democrat side of the aisle, and I will respect you just as much. I'm a live and let live guy. I don't care what color you are or which of the 34 genders you think you are. I think a lot of people are there these days. But I think with Trump getting back to point, I think they saw it. They had to shut that down a little bit. I'm not saying it's the primary reason that we had to steal the stop, or to have the stolen. I better not say the E word because it might upset our YouTube master. So I'll politely say the stolen erection. We had to have that. We had to have this big push against Trump, who was said to be racist. He was said to be against blacks, against browns, against Muslims, and yet he increased in several different groups. I think that's part of the reason you see this censorship on YouTube, is they saw I say sarcastically, damage Trump was doing. He even picked up all those folks from Brandon Straka's walk away. I mean, that was anybody from elderly white women to a San Francisco guy who happened to be gay, who was on the Trump train, and any number of people. And I can clearly see why they're shutting that down, because Trump was starting to make strides with people who weren't the norm of the Republican Party, maybe such as myself.
That's right, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Love you, brother. Do a good show.
Thank you. All righty. Great call. Great call. 630. You're on the line. I'm speaking to.
Hey, ABL. Let me get away from the TV. My bad.
Oh, you good?
All right. Man, just wonder. Like I try to get on your last little live stream you had on, and when you guys were talking about the rioters with protesters / rioters, whatever you want to call them in DC. And, a lot of people was giving you a lot of stuff about it, and I didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with them actually. A lot of people saying they're going to unsubscribe, stuff like that. Even though I agree with, them being there in D.C., making their point heard and voicing their opinion, I didn't agree with the whole attacking the police because, we're supposed to be the party that back the blue, and pretty much that. I just want to, give you some words of encouragement, that you still got people that, watch your podcast and stuff like that, man. And yeah, pretty much that's about it, man.
Thank you for your call, man, and your support. I definitely appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm always stay true to myself and just keep it real. It doesn't matter if it's loved or people don't like it all the time. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's all good. That's just part of it. You're going to have people that don't like what you say. I was on Brandon's stream, and Brandon has a different opinion than me a little bit, and people were saying that he was wrong. So it's like you can't really please everybody. All you gotta do is be true to yourself. You try to please people, you're gonna end up in the same situation. Like you're gonna end up worse because now you're gonna be fake. Stay true to yourself. Whatever you think, whatever you believe, just stay on it. Stay true to that. Alrighty. I'm gonna get some more calls here. The number to call 434-658-1220. He was wrong. So it's Alrighty, Matt, what's going on?
Yo, what's happening, man?
Everything's good, man. About yourself?
Doing pretty good. Man, you gave some horrible financial advice there, I think.
Oh, what's going on?
There's sort of the opposite of inflation is going on. And there's probably one graph, if you could share it with your people, that really shows what it is.
All right.
I'll send you a link to it. It's called the M2 velocity. And it should be, if you could share your screen, it's pretty easy to put up there. Stand by.
Okay.
I gotta get to the chat part of it.
I can't access chat because Skype will crash.
Oh, yeah, M2 velocity Fred, F-R-E-D. If you Google it, it's like the first link that comes up from the St. Louis Federal Reserve. But what's going on is they're sequestering all the money. The velocity is going way down. So the dollar is hyper strong right now. It might not be strong according to other currencies, like in terms of Forex, but right now the dollar's buying us more things than ever.
So if they keep doing the money printing, is that going to make it stronger or weaker?
Well, it has no effect on it because Austrian economics is dead. Keynesian economics is dead. Nobody's a Keynesian anymore. They're not even doing that. So these stimulus checks, for example, that like a lot of people are worried about them being inflation and UBI, but basically what's happening is that people are paying their debt down with it. So what the government's trying to do in a way is to get rid of debt while they're the ones that have the debt. Mm-hmm. So that when they basically destroy the dollar, they're the ones that basically were able to confiscate all that wealth.
Okay, so the dollar will be destroyed?
Yeah, but right now what they're trying to do is to discourage people from getting debt. So there's not a lot of things that you can actually get a loan for. I'm a small business and I needed to buy some machinery and stuff like that. I was able to get a line of credit for that, but there's not a lot of things that you can actually get debt for. So the financial advice that I would give anybody right now is to try to get into debt, because when the dollar's destroyed, then it basically will be easy for you to pay that back. But in the meantime, you want to put your money into either like a developing economy's currency, but gold and silver, precious metals, hands down. Half of what you got should be in that.
So how they going to kill the dollar? Like, how they going to go about that? What's going to be the method in which they kill the dollar?
Just through hyperinflation. But it's not, we're going to continue to see these deflationary pressures because all the money's being sequestered. Even though there's more money than there's ever existed right now and it's gone off the rails, they're actually paying banks to not make loans in a program called interest on reserves.
So how do we have hyperinflation? Like, is it through money printing, like I was saying?
Yeah, right now
so dollar will. So I was right.
Sort of. You want to get gold and silver, but you also want to get into debt, and
like real estate, right? Buying a house, like everybody's doing.
Yeah. So the housing, you can kind of get it. Like, matter of fact, we're thinking about buying a house, but there's a lot of people that. The dangerous part about real estate is that a lot of people think they can retire on their home equity. It's not like when house prices here in Seattle fall, it's not like the appraisers are going to go out and actively appraise everybody's houses so their taxes get lower. Mm-hmm. It's basically they're going to get the tax money out of it. So the third leg of this whole stool is mobility. So the reason why I discourage mortgages is because you can't move per se.
But isn't that debt though? Like, I mean, and if you have a mortgage, you can still move around. Like, if you want to, do the whole rent thing, you can get a property manager, rent it out, and do it that way. You can be somewhere across the country.
Yeah, you could do something like that. There's a weird thing with houses and bonds is basically half of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet right now, and the Fed never had a balance sheet before. The balance sheet was just for the cash money, for collateralizing the dollars that were printed. But half the balance sheet is bonds. The government's buying its own debt, and the government is the largest real estate owner right now, and they're letting mortgages basically mature on the balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really know what a house is worth. It's almost worth nothing in my opinion, beyond its utility. But having a loan is a good thing, just because especially on something long term like that, when you have to pay it back, it's not going to be that difficult to pay it back.
Right.
But gold and silver, hands down. So if anybody wants to Google this stuff, look up velocity of M2 money stock. It's on the St. Louis Fred. Look up the Federal Reserve balance sheet. Look at the monetary supply, so just the M2 itself. And then look up interest on reserves, so that the banks are actually getting paid to not make loans. And that's why we don't have hyperinflation, because all the money's being sequestered.
Okay, I got to ask you a question about Bitcoin. What's your thoughts on that, quickly?
It's beanie babies.
Okay, thank you. We agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, if I were smart, I mean, like, and more inclined to actually gamble, I mean, I would have gone into it and made all kinds of money and sold. I mean, a guy that works for me actually made a lot of money on it, more than I make.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm not hating. I just think that it's the reason why you see stuff like Bitcoin is because what else are you going to do with your money? There's all this liquidity out there. Are you going to put it in the stock market? Are you going to start a business with it? Are you going to, there's not a lot of places to stick your money. That
it can't put it in the bank because you got pretty much 0%. What's the point? Just put it under your mattress, same thing.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about too. The government's not furloughing people. Even in this little town that I'm in out here in Seattle, they're not. Everybody's still working. So if you look at just the GDP in general, or what the government actually does, they tax 18% and they spend 20%, and then they borrow the 2%, no matter what the income levels are. And this year they're going to get theirs. And what they're going to do is, I think Obama tried to do it twice. He actually started a program called MyRA. And what they're going to do in terms of, hey, where are you going to put your money? When people's IRAs in the stock market, mutuals start going down, people are going to beg the government to appropriate their retirement savings. And if you've got an IRA, you've got a 401k or something like that, they're not going to give you the option. The government's going to run that for you. It's going to be the new deal. So in terms of, if you have savings or something like that, and you think you're gonna have to take a hit on it or something like that if you sell, I would sell it, and I would buy at least half of it in precious metals. I'm a little over half. My portfolio is in precious metal.
Gotcha.
But because the government's going to get theirs, it's not like they're not going to run, and they need money. And then when the stock market starts bleeding out, people are going to freak out, and it's going to be a run for the exit. They're probably close the New York Stock Exchange, and people will be afraid to wake up in the morning because a lot of people that are in it have never seen a bear market ever. And they're going to ask the government to come in and handle this.
Gotcha, man. Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, be good.
All right, now. All right, shout out to Matt. Got kind of deep with the finance. Got kind of deep with the finance stuff. But yeah, I mean, my thing right now, I would say, if you have money, if you can buy a house, why not? People say that renting is better, but it's pros and cons to renting versus buying. Renting, you got more mobility, but you're spending a bunch of money on rent, depending upon how much you spend where you are. And at the end of it, you just leave, and there's no equity, no nothing. You can't sell it. You can't get, you just spent it. If it makes sense to you to do that, then do it. But I would say right now, it's probably a good time to buy a house. But that's just me. I'm not, the expert or the guru. I'm just a guy talking, just giving you my opinion. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Bitcoin, like I said, when the lights go off, what you gonna do? But cash, that's probably the best thing. Gold, silver, probably good, but cash and stocks, if possible. But Bitcoin is not currency. Bitcoin is a thing you can sell for paper dollars. Stocks, you have you have equity, you have ownership. Gold, silver, tangible item. Paper dollars is backed by the U.S. government, really, at the end of the day. But that's a different story. Okay, let's get to the next one. All right, Skype caller, who am I speaking to? Hello, Skype caller. Hello, hello. Anthony, can you hear me? Your mic is off. I can't hear you, boss. All right, going once, going twice. Gotta tighten up. Let's get to the next one. 319, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Chris calling out of LA. I called in on Wednesday. How you doing, man?
I can't complain too much about yourself.
Pretty good. I'm glad the Obama phone's working today.
I'm glad that it is.
Yeah, no, there's two things I kind of wanted to talk about. First off, I'm right here with you on the whole minimum wage thing because, you know, I used to believe it kind of needed to be raised back when I was kind of not really thinking for myself too much, when I was like 18 working at the McDonald's, just believing that I needed a higher wage hike. But now, because now I'm like 23 and I used to live in the San Francisco Bay Area. So when you said like, yeah, places like that kind of make sense for higher wages, that's true and also kind of false because, when I lived there and I worked minimum wage jobs, you know, like you said, they weren't ever giving me enough hours. They'd always be cutting the hours. And if I did get 40 hours the very next week, my hours would just be, slashed in half. And then that just left people with wanting to get a second job to kind of make up for that. But, you know, what they don't realize is they should be going out and taking advantage of like trade schools or going to a 2-year and try to boost up their skills and get a better job somewhere else. Because those jobs originally, man, they were meant for teenagers, younger people, maybe college students at least to do and work and just kind of get by, but they're not no long-term career. And because what happens when they raise the minimum wage to 15 an hour, it's going to destroy all these small businesses. And a lot of small businesses in the Bay Area itself are getting destroyed by that hike. And when all these small businesses are out, you know, what are you left with? You tell me. Scamazon, Walmart, all these places are going to be the only survivors, because, you know, you can't survive off that. And it just sucks because this country was kind of built on these small businesses, and with them out of service because they want to hike the wages, they can't afford to pay their employees that. It's not going to look great. And that's what people don't realize. They think that working at McDonald's, they deserve the 15. But they don't realize as soon they're going to just be cut down on their hours. They're going to get automation in there, and they're going to not be able to survive. Like, I make a lot more money now because I learned some skills and got it together. But if I was just still, like, you know, trying to get that higher wage, my hours eventually would have been cut. So, you know, I'm completely right there with you because people out in the Bay Area, like, they can't pay, like the small business owners, they can't pay their employees 15 an hour, 40 hours a week because they also have to pay that high rent, like for their business, like that $3,000, $4,000 a month. So they're kind of getting screwed in the end, which sucks for them because a lot of the places I worked at when I was living up there, you know, they had some crazy, insane rent and they could only give me so many hours because it was just hard for them to get by in general. So, no, I'm right there with you. But what do you think? Like, when they raise it completely all over, or at least try, what do you think is going to happen to small business?
They're going to have to adjust as far as, like, firing employees, cutting hours, or they're going to go out of business, or they may do the whole 1099 thing just to have subcontractors. So they could pay you whatever they want. They could pay you to do a job, and there's no minimum wage attached. Like, if you pay a painter to paint your house, ain't no minimum wage. They're on Craigslist or wherever they're at, and they say, okay, here's what I charge to paint, and pay me that, I'll paint your house. And that's it. Y'all just do an exchange that way. You're going to see more of that. You're going to see more Uber, Lyft type situations where you just got an app on your phone and you go do gigs. That's going to be the way of the future, because to having a W-2 employee is just too expensive. 1099, it's the best of both worlds, because the person getting paid can have freedom to do whatever they want. They can have many 1099 jobs. They're not at a desk all day stuck at one place. And then the employer, they're not paying for the infrastructure to have the employee at a place, for the medical and all the other stuff. All they're doing is paying for a service, and that's it. So they can pay less money, and then that guy that's out there working can have more freedom. The downside is that you don't have security of a W-2 type job. You don't have the laws on your side as far as discrimination and stuff like that for the most part. So that's going to be the way of the future.
Yeah, that's
one more thing. Also, automation. Like if you got a fast food joint where you can't do 1099 and stuff like that, you got more automation. So if you got a fast food joint, it'll be a kiosk in the front if they can afford it, rather than having a human being. It'll be as few people as possible. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty scary thought, because they're already trying to roll out those automated machines out at, McDonald's and whatnot. It's going to be a matter of time before it becomes a reality. And, like in California, they're trying to make all the Dashers and Uber drivers like W-2 employees. They're always fighting for something. It's
right.
Kind of crazy, but yeah, no, it just doesn't seem sustainable to do that. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And I used to believe it, but then I just kind of stepped into the reality, and I'm like, oh, wonder why my hours are cut. Oh yeah, it's because they're paying $4,000 a month and paying me $15 an hour. Like that's just how it works. But no, I'm right there with you. And another thing, I watched your video, I think earlier today, where you talked about the whole teaching third graders all this LGBTQ stuff. To me, that's ridiculous, man. Like, how are you going to teach a third grader that kind of stuff? They should just be watching the Scooby-Doo on TV. Like when I was in the third grade, I think I was listening to Who Let the Dogs Out on my iPod Nano.
Right.
But that's a while back. I wasn't learning about all this nonsense, because they're just kids, man. And it makes sense for it to be California, out of all places.
Right. Of course.
Of course they're going to do that. But I don't know. It's a crazy world we're living in, man. But no, that's really all I got to say. I really appreciate your show. I watch it every single day I can. Big fan. And out of all conservative YouTubers, I think you're the most logical out of all of them. So I love your show, man. Keep doing up the work. And yeah, man, look forward to more content.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, have a good weekend, ABL.
All right, great caller. Got a lot more on the line. Keep on trying. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Let's go. Hold on. 262, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Jack.
All right, man. What's going on?
So I just wanted to tell you, I'm the guy that had the minimum wage comment, super chat.
Okay.
Because I wanted to come and debate you on this. I've been trying to get in all night. Yeah. So I just want to say that you are completely wrong on this minimum wage. It's been debunked a thousand times. Even Seattle, where you said, oh, look how it's doing for Seattle. Seattle actually, it boosted the economy. It's not kicking people out. It's actually boosting jobs. And I hate Joe Biden. And when I saw he's doing $15 an hour, I'm like, all right, it's not my guy who I voted for wanted $20 an hour, but I'll take it. Because there's people who can't afford to survive on $7.25 an hour. And even $15, there's no place in the United States that you can afford to live on $15 an hour. It's just a fact. So you said what you want.
Okay, now, how do you know how much you're going to get paid from that?
What do you mean?
Your take-home pay. How do you know what the pay is going to be? Because, with an hourly wage, do you work? Do you have an hourly job?
Yes, I do.
So, how many hours do you get in a week?
Well, I choose to work 30 hours because of COVID. I got health reasons, but I work 30 hours a week. I could work 40, but I do work 30 hours a week.
And how much you get paid per hour, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, that's fine. I make a little over $11. I get paid over $300 a month or a week. So, I make decent pay, but I could always be making more. I still live at home with my folks. But I know people that can't survive on $7.25 an hour. I never made $7.25. My starting wage was $7.40. I made what my friend made who got me the job where I worked. But it's not okay that we live in the richest country on the face of the earth. Go ahead.
can you survive on 15 or can you survive on $12 an hour? It's not 15. Can you survive on $12 an hour?
No, if you can't survive anywhere on 15, you can't survive anywhere on 12. No.
But then how are you doing it? You're surviving.
I live with you can't buy a place. Like if I want to buy myself my own place, you can't do it on $15 an hour. There's no place in the United States. There's a study that said there's no place in the United States that you can afford to pay on $15 an hour. It just doesn't work like that.
So you think that if you made 15, you can go move out right now and free out of Washington?
Nah, I can't. I can't.
Oh, okay. So you can't survive on 15 then, right?
No, not everyone can. It would help me out better. It would help me pay for more things, help me more beneficial because I got bills and I can afford to pay my bills. But I know that in less than a year, I'm going to have to start paying my medical bills since we unfortunately do not have Medicare for all. But that's another story. I just going to have to pay more bills. And I just know that I'm going to have to do it because me living on the amount of money I make, I know I can find a job that pays me more. I know that from the second I started working at my job.
Now check it out, though. If you made $15, would it solve all your problems?
No money would solve my problems.
All right, then. So what are we talking about? You saying that you can't survive on less than $15, and $15 will just it'll do it. So you can't do it. So why do you think that anybody else can? I'm having a hard time understanding where you're coming from.
Okay, because it's the more thing to do. And you say, these small businesses.
Wait. Well, hold on. Before we go there, we're talking about surviving on 15. So you told me right now you can't do it yourself. So if you can't do it, why do you think anyone else can? Explain that to me.
I'm not saying it just would help them out more. It would help them pay their bills more. I mean, a little extra money in their pocket would help them out.
So do you want to change what you said when you said that you can't survive on less than 15? Do you want to change that? Because that would imply that you can. Wait. Hold on. I'm gonna finish.
Okay.
So that would imply you can survive on 15, but not less than that. So do you want to change your statement?
No, what I'm saying is that I'm never saying that I can't survive on you right now. I live with my parents, so I don't have much bills I have to pay.
What you said was you cannot survive on less than 15, but now you're saying you're going to need more than 15. So do you want to change your statement?
I'm not saying it for me. I'm not saying that I need the minimum wage raise for me. I'm not advocating for $15 an hour or even $20 for myself. I make a decent amount. I know I could be making more somewhere else. I choose not to go somewhere else because I get good benefits. I get good bosses. I get paid vacation. I'm not even full-time. I worked at my job for over 7 years, and I freaking get 2 weeks paid vacation, making a crap ton of money a month. And I know that I could be making money somewhere else, making more money, but I like the environment I work in. And it's for other people. It's for people who have to work. It's for that single mother who has to work 2 jobs because they can't afford it. And people at Walmart. The people at Walmart have to go on fucking food stamps.
Wait.
Sorry. They have to go on food stamps because they can't afford to pay for their insurance or the food and stuff. And the richest family in the world, the Warren family, is the biggest welfare recipient in the country.
But check it out. But check it out though. What's Walmart's profit margin for on average for each store? Just take a wild guess. They make a lot of money. They're rich. They got buku dinero. Give me a wild guess on what the profit margin is for an average Walmart store. Give me a guess, ballpark.
I'm gonna guess 80%. I have no clue.
Wait. Let's pause. You said 80% profit margin. Is that what you told me right now on live on?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm
sir,
that number,
sir,
so I'm just guessing.
Sir, try 3.5% profit margin. That's average.
Okay.
Some make less than 3.5. Some are not even profitable. They make their money on volume. Okay, that's kind of how it goes, and they have a very tight profit margin. If they raise how much they pay their employees, it's going to be a big amount of money. It's going to cut into the bottom line. And some places, some of their stores are going to go totally under and go out of business. And the people that work there won't have any jobs at all. And you're talking about Walmart. Why talk about Walmart when they got billions of dollars? Walmart wouldn't mind having a higher minimum wage as a federal regulation because they can then take the small places that cannot really afford to pay their employees. Mom and pop shops don't have a whole lot of money. If they're being forced to pay $15 an hour plus taxes, benefits, everything else, they're going to go under. And then Walmart, Target, Amazon will pick up the slack because they got the money to take a hit.
No.
If Walmart raises what they pay, which is pretty decent right now for what they do, if they raise it, it can cost billions. And they only make about 15 to 14 billion in profit after they spend 400 to 500 billion to get to 15 billion. 3.5% profit margin. You got to understand money.
Nah, and about the small business part, like this, the nation. I got this from a guy who you should check out sometime. His name is Jimmy Dore. He's a wrestling comedian. He's there in Tucker Carlson a bunch, but he has said that if you can't afford to pay your employees $15 an hour, he said this to Andrew Yang, who he interviewed like a year or so ago. He said, then you should not be in business.
Okay.
And I was thinking to myself, that seems messed up. That seems crazy. Like what? But I realized, why should you be able to make all the profit while your employees are sitting there having to have another job? They can't afford to make ends meet or pay their medical bills or help feed their kids.
Now check it out though. Not every business is just rolling in money. You got a lot of small businesses don't have a whole lot of money. Gas stations, corner stores, barbershops, beauty salons. Because, me, I've been working for myself for like 15 years. I've been paying taxes and doing 1099s, all that kind of stuff. I know about this. And I've worked with other small businesses. Guys not making a whole lot of money. I done seen guys go bankrupt. We see what we saw happen during the pandemic. People going bankrupt because they don't have enough money to be able to hold them down during this time. Even with the loans, it's not enough. They don't have a whole lot of money. I know guys to where $1,000 cost them their whole business. Where Walmart has billions. They could pay it, but a small guy can't. Okay, I done seen real small, like Chinese restaurants that got the whole family in there working. They're not making a whole lot of money. They have a business, but they're not rich. So when you just say, okay, because you're not rich, you can't have a business, tell that to them trying to make a living for themselves, and tell that to wait, and tell that to their employees that work there that don't mind working. They enjoy their environment, they enjoy their benefits, they enjoy what they got, but because they don't make X amount of dollars that you think is appropriate, then they can't have a job. Are you going to hire them? Are you going to pay their bills? Are you going to take care of whatever they got to take care of? No, you're not. But because you say they don't deserve to work, and that guy running it doesn't have that. Wait, you said that. You said if you cannot wait. You said if you cannot afford to pay $15 an hour or whatever the pay is, you shouldn't be in business. You don't deserve to have a business. Tell that to their employees and tell that to the poor guy with no money, probably in the low income minority area. Tell him that he should just go out of business and F off because he's not rich like Jeff Bezos and all these other guys that got a bunch of money. Tell them that. How about that?
I probably wouldn't, but I just think.
And the employees, what about them? Just screw them, right? Because they like their job, they're making money, so just screw them, right? So what you gonna do with them?
No, I got friends that own the business in the small business. They own like landscaping stuff, but they know where I stand. This and the majority of the country wants it $15.
So how about wait? So if I make $9 an hour, I'm like you, right? I live at home with my mom. I pay bills here and there, and I'm good. But you say it's not enough, so you shouldn't have your job anymore. That's what you're saying. So
no, I'm not saying that for me.
Huh?
I'm saying this for somebody else. I'm not saying this for me. I don't need it raised for myself. That's a
no. You're not hearing me. Tell the person that is making that amount of money that you think that they shouldn't make because it's not enough. Tell them when they get fired from their job because the guy went out of business because you said so. Tell them that, oh, you didn't deserve that. You don't need to have that money because it's not enough. Tell them that. Is that what you thinking?
I will.
So it's okay to have somebody. Wait. So it's okay to have somebody get fired because you think it's not enough money, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Enough money. So what if I say that you'll make enough money and you need to get fired? How about that? Why not? If it's okay for somebody else, so it's okay for you to say to somebody else, but not yourself though. You can tell somebody else on the street. So
I would say it to my business, and I work for a Kroger company. So I work for a pretty large company that its CEO did say I don't know how many months ago said they would raise it to 15. He hasn't done it yet. But guess what? I work for a big company that can afford to pay us every single employee there $15 an hour to base. I think that's how it should be when the majority of Americans want it. I feel like that's what we should have.
So
that's why Amazon
you're going to tell the person.
AOC wanted it.
So I'm gonna talk. You're going to tell the person that does not make that kind of money, who does not work for a big company, that he should just get fired and not make any money because you said so. While you, on the other hand, don't make that kind of money, and you say, "Well, I'm gonna stay in business because I'm different. I work for a big company and I'm straight." But he's not. Okay, that's kind of elitist, don't you think?
I I get where you were coming from in that, but I'm not saying that I would tell that person he should be fired. I'm just saying that
you did say that
he should demand from his employer that he should pay him a $15 minimum wage,
and
or that
if it doesn't work, then what?
Well,
What's
then you
next?
try finding a job so bad. I just don't think that a CEO.
So should he get fired? Should he get fired? Yes or no?
No, but I don't think
All right,
CEO
then.
should be able to make however much money they're making, no matter how small, while their employees are suffering. I don't think that that's right. If I start business right now and I say I'm going to pay myself $11,000 a year, and then I say I'm going to pay my employees $1,000 a year, it's like, and I only got 2 employees. That's not fair to me. That's not fair to them.
Hold on, say that.
That's
You
not fair to
said
them that I'm making all this money.
You said 11,000, and you pay your wait. Say that one more time.
If I decide just a random number, I'm gonna pay him $11,000. I pay myself $11,000 a month, and I make like say $20,000 in profit. And then I say I'm gonna pay my 2 employees like $1,000 each. That's nothing a year. Just hypothetically, that's nothing, and I'm making $11,000. That's crumbs for them. That's not fair. I should be making any money then. That's not fair to them. I'm making all the money and they're making scraps. That's not fair.
Okay.
I know why it's not fair, but that's not how it works.
I have a question. How old are you?
I am 25.
Oh my God, really? 25? I thought you were like 16.
Yeah, I am.
Wow, sir.
Nah, man, I've called him before, man.
You're 25. Sir, you gotta tighten up, man. You gotta get it together, man. 25, okay. and you live in with your parents. Come on, man.
But what? Yeah, I know. I mean, I live in Milwaukee area, so it's not. I don't live in Milwaukee, but I live near Milwaukee.
Fam,
so
when I was 23 when I left, when I was old, and I was making like about 50 a year at that point. You making how much? 11? No judgment, no judgment, but you gotta get forward a little bit, get some better skills, and move forward, man.
I've heard that all my life from my parents. I mean, my mom doesn't make super much. My dad makes a lot more than my mom does, but I understand, and I appreciate your time, man. I know we're not going to agree on this. I think you're completely wrong, just like you think I'm completely wrong, but I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, you're welcome, man. Bye.
All right, that was fun. Shout out to my man, Zach. But yeah, 25, you're old, man. I thought he was young, man. I thought he was like a teenager or something, like, college age or something. Oh, man, that's crazy. Fam, you got to get up and get out, do something. Man. And if you choose to make less money, I mean, he said he chose to make less money. It's like, fam, you don't have that luxury at this particular point in time in your life. Vacation, I don't even know what a vacation is. And I make a lot more than that. And when I was his age, I was getting like 50 a year, grinding, doing club flyers. Fam, nah. Somebody said, when I was 25, I was married with children. I don't mean to attack the man, but seriously, his parents told him the same thing, so I ain't the first one. So shout out to him. All right, let's get to the next one. 321, you're in line. I'm speaking to.
Oh, hey, ABL.
What's going on, man?
Wow, I'm watching you live right now. I didn't think that I was going to get on here.
You're live on the air, man. What's happening?
Well, just to touch on some things, I really don't want to touch on the raising the wage part because, I mean, that's obvious. I was going to say that the writing is really on the wall with the left here. You know, they banned Trump, they banned Parler, right? And then, Amazon is selling like kill all Republican shirts, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do. Like you said, the end result is them becoming a communist party and pretty much ruling America. I mean, what can we do to actually fight this? Because it just seems almost inevitable at this point.
Well, you got to be able to spread the proper information. That's the main thing. I think we're kind of in a propaganda war right now because the left, they're spreading all kind of crazy stuff. Misinformation, fake news, all of that. You got to be able to spread information wherever you can, whether they be on the internet, social media, websites, in your local area, in your community, in the street, church, school, wherever you can do it. Get out the proper information. And then also be involved in your local community. Be involved with anything you can, because people are kind of like in their own little silos, taking in information and not really hearing from other people sometimes, from other voices. So my suggestion would be to be involved in your local community as much as you can to spread the word. That's how you really get it to the national space. It's a start wherever you are, and we can all do that wherever we live.
Of course. But I mean, what do you mean by getting involved with the community? Because it seems like at this point, the propaganda and the brainwashing has been going on for 4+ years. You know, like everything that the left does, they project onto us. We've been over this 100 times the last 4 years. Racist, xenophobe, all this stuff. I mean, how can we really wake up minds at this point? Because it really does seem like we're going towards a communist regime with the re-education camps and just the mass brainwashing, the mass push from big tech, the media, the fake news media. You know, even what was his name? Jack Harlow? No, not Jack Harlow. Jack Dorsey from Twitter, right? He banned Trump, and now he's gonna go on a mega ban. Like I said, Parler is banned. Facebook has been banning people. Hodge twins. I'm surprised Big Tatum hasn't been banned yet, but I'm sure that's coming. I'm sure you're gonna get banned soon. I mean, what can we do? Because it seems like they're really gonna come gunning after us now.
Well, I mean, what I told you is the best way I know how to do it, because you got to get to the people. You got to inform people. With the social media stuff, there's only so much you can do. There is alternative platforms. I would say definitely we can't put all the eggs into one basket. Alternative platforms exist. Be everywhere on every platform. If you want to talk about internet, be on every platform, and also have your own website. I got my own website, so regardless of what's going on, that's going to be there. That really is not a thing that's controlled by other people. And you know, some websites they're kind of attacked right now. I think people had Squarespace websites that got taken down, third-party websites. But as long as you are pretty much lawful, they ain't really going to touch that. If they touch your website and you're not engaging in anything unlawful, that can be a court fight right there. So it's going to be a constant fight. It's going to be a constant battle. They're going to keep fighting on their side to keep us suppressed, keep our voices down. But we can't let up. We got to be everywhere. And it's going to get to the point where they can't control all of us. And once you get it out there to the public, wherever you are in your local community, they're going to be on the internet doing the same thing. It's going to be a mass of us. So it's not just a few guys crying into the darkness that are able to get squashed quickly. It's going to be thousands of us talking about the same thing to the point where they can't stop it all. So that's the main thing. Have strength in numbers and don't be so fragmented. That's how you are able to succeed, in my opinion.
I hope so, because the thing with the Capitol kind of scared me a little bit. I feel like their end goal is trying to be like a Civil War type situation or something where they can completely just squash us. Because it seems like with that whole situation and the having Antifa and BLM and CNN reporters involved, it was really just a huge psyop for them to gain leverage over us and this, that, and the third. So it just seems like they want to keep pushing us to eventually. Sorry, I had to go inside real quick. To eventually actually have us fight, or they're just gonna squash us completely, and then the communist regime will be enacted, I guess I could say.
Yeah, I don't really look at the world like that. I think we'll be okay. I think we could just move forward and do the right things. So thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, have a good one.
All right, now. All right, got some more calls on the line. Let's get to a few more. Let's go to 813 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Kevin.
All right, man. What's going on?
I'm doing very well, sir. It's an honor to speak to you, Mr. ABL. I just want to know, everything that's going on in D.C. right now with, Trump bowing out. What do you think will be what can we look forward to with the Biden administration is what I'm asking.
You're going to have a lot of the things they were trying to get across in Trump's administration that was unsuccessful. They're going to try to move that forward. Immediately, the minimum wage thing is going to be first. Then it's going to be some of this, gender non-conforming, LGBT, ABCDFG, illegal alien. That's what they're going to try to get across. And then there's going to be some kickback from local communities. Like, prime example, if they want to allow the border to be open, There's going to be a problem with Texas. They're not going to like that too much because that's their border as well. So you're going to have a lot of states that are kicking back against the administration. However they can, if they are able to do that, that's a different story. But I think that's going to be a battle among different states to the federal government trying to kick back against what they're doing.
Okay. Yeah, that seems to be right on point. So, as far as the national debt, what can we look forward to in the next 4 years?
Oh, it's going up. It's going up because you already didn't had the virus thing really just made it go up a lot because, they're trying to spend so much money to fix it when the reality is you should just open up the country and there won't be no need for all this, bailout stuff. But it's going to be more debt. I'm not really sure how much more because there was a lot of spending already, but it's definitely going to be more debt. Beyond that, I'm not really sure.
All right, man. Well, I really appreciate your insight, and ABL, man, you're doing a great job. I've been listening to you for the past 6 months, and you're right on point. Unfortunately, the plans have not worked out in the past few weeks, but it is what it is. We survived Obama, and we'll survive Kamala, and and I say Kamala first for a reason, and Biden. But thank you very much. I really appreciate what you do. And if I am a first-time caller, midterm listener, so I really appreciate everything you're doing, and keep it going.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Peace out.
Yeah, man. Trump laid it all on the line. Trump put it all out there. Just like, hey, I'll give you my all. I'll give you everything. It's just like Jordan with the flu game. I'm going to put it all out there. I'm going to just blood, sweat, tears in the court. Whatever I got, I'm going to give to you. That's all I can really ask for from anybody, just to give your all and do your absolute best. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
Hey, man, not much, man. I just want to comment on what a lot of people are calling and asking you. They're asking you, what can we do now? And, one of the biggest things I can say is the biggest failure conservatives would have now is not voting out these traitors Republicans. Because if you think about this, ABL, man, liberals are all unified, bro. Like, even in the Obama administration, right? You never have any Democrats who are like never Obama or never Biden. And you don't have Democrats loudly going after their own. But it just seems like, and it's frustratingly so, that the Republican Party does that all the time, man. They want to look like they're just these moral people. And I honestly think they do that at the behest of liberals. And liberals still see them as racist. And one of the prime examples is, I bring him up all the time, but Mitt Romney, man, like, he's on Twitter condemning the protesters. But I'm just like, where were you when BLM was protesting? Burning things? Like, he sees nothing. And in fact, I even seen a video of Mitt Romney outside marching, talking about, I believe there should be justice. And the frustrating thing about that, let's say devil's advocate, let's say there was just this racial system persecuting black people, whatever. Why, Mitt Romney, you're a lawmaker. Why are you out there marching and walking, doing all this dumb symbolism? You know what I'm saying? It's just, the thing is, man, these Republicans got to be punished, man. That's it. They've got to be punished. Like, we can't be scared to, we can't be like, we got to vote them in, otherwise the liberals are going to take over. No, man. Sometimes we're going to have to go through some hard pain in order to get what we want. And if that is losing the House and Senate just to reform it for the people that we want, then we got to make that change. Because right now, man, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know if Trump is going to get impeached or not. The last impeachment, I was sure he wasn't. But this one where Mitch McConnell's thinking about, I don't know, man. What do you think? Do you think the Republicans are going to impeach Trump just to put down this Trump, ideology once and for all, or are they going to stick by him? What do you think?
It's going to be kind of hard to tell. I think it might be kind of a fracture. They're going to have to decide which way they want to go because they got a lot of steam behind the whole Trump administration. So they may try to take some of that energy and then may try to leave some of the energy behind. They may try to have a neutral ground, but only time is going to tell how that's going to work with the voters, because a lot of people are fired up. They don't really want the same old, same old. They want a different direction.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want no weak, timid Mitch McConnell type Republican running for the office. And yeah, this is the problem. The Republicans don't fear their base. That's the problem. Just like Democrats don't fear their base, and they don't fear black people, especially. That's why they ignore black people and talk bad about them and insult them and do absolutely nothing for them and do create policies against them. It's because black people do absolutely nothing. So when you're dealing with the people who do absolutely nothing and whine and moan but still will vote for you, you can ignore them. And I'm telling you, Trump supporters, the same thing will happen to you. If you sit there and you whine and moan about the system being against you, but then you don't hold none of these Republicans responsible, you will be ignored. So yeah, man, that's how we win this, man. We win this by voting these fraudsters out. And just the last thing, man, what they're trying to do is they are going for just severe punishment for Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? And this is why he's being censored unfairly. And Trump is being made example of for any Republican who would think to rise up and challenge power. And also now it seems like we can no longer question elections, because it seems like they are trying to do high punishment for people out there protesting. So yeah, man, that's all I want to say. Vote these Republicans out or just cry forever. Take care, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right, great call from Tariq. As always, let's get to some more here. Let's go 858 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, you're speaking to Charles here in San Diego, sir.
All right, man. What's going on?
Man, a whole lot. You know, I watched your videos here today, and you touched on, I know I called you a couple weeks ago and I mentioned the schools bringing that whole social justice, what was the name of it you called the program for the schools? The name for it?
Yeah, I forgot the name of the program, but it was it's talking about transgenderism and race and all types of other weird stuff in California.
Yes, in San Diego, I know the gentleman that you were using some of his clips off of the tweets or whatever, he mentioned how San Diego just got something going. And to take it a step further, they the beginning of this week, they announced and they put flyers out or little posts everywhere. Racism is now our health crisis here in San Diego. So now it's been declared a health crisis.
I mean, making up stuff. I mean, this is crazy. And these same people would say, "Oh, we got to shut everything down. We can't be out in public." It's like, come on, this is absurd at this particular point in time. I'm not paying these people any mind at all anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to pay a mind when they're going that extreme. Exactly.
Right.
It's like, come on, man, are you kidding me? Hey, come on. And then our local county supervisor, board supervisor, who was kind of recently put into that position, and our mayor, both of them did this. They jumped on the whole Democrat bandwagon with anybody who supported for Trump or is a Trump backer is a white supremacist and a Nazi. They literally said that on TV, man. I mean, how do you just lump people like that?
I mean, they sometimes they believe in it. And they may have been brainwashed themselves to believe in it, and they just repeat it. And some don't believe in it, obviously. They're just trying to get money, or they're trying to push forward a political message. It's pretty dirty and underhanded, but I don't expect anything less from these kind of people.
Yeah. And I also want to put out there to anyone who's listening, unfortunately, that young lady who lost her life, Ashley Babbitt, I believe was her name. Not trying to make her a martyr or nothing like that, because where she was and what she was doing was wrong. So I'm sorry that happened to her. I do send out my condolences to any family, because that's here. I mean, she was local, man. But that's not what we represent in San Diego, our Republicans, our people of San Diego, period. just whatever side you're on. We don't condone that. That was nuts. To fly literally cross country to go and get yourself killed. What are you thinking? Maybe she was thinking they wouldn't shoot like they didn't shoot throughout all the other BLM protests. Maybe that's what she was thinking.
I think it was mob mentality, because once you out there and it kind of in that mix, things are going on and you just acting. You're not even really thinking. And if you weren't in that mix, and if you were able to sit down for a minute and think about what you're doing, you probably wouldn't do it. But you're in the mix and it's adrenaline pumping. You just going forward, not thinking properly, and unfortunately, it cost her life.
I can imagine that something like that could have been happening for sure.
Yeah,
that was a crazy scene. I hope to never see something like that again in my lifetime. You know, I've only recently got into politics, and part of it was because of you. Turned you on one day. I liked how you had a very, non-party type of, lean one way. Let's be real there. Lean a little bit one way, but you try to be very center in how you approach everything that you talk about.
I try to be fair.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's about it. I just wanted to go back and forth with you a little bit there.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Take care, brother.
All righty. Great call. We got quite a few more calls on the line. I'm going to get to those in just a few. You guys on the drill, the number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go to... All right, call you online. I'm speaking to 210.
Hey, ABL, this is James from Texas.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Well, first off, I just got to say, Zach got to tighten up, man. I just make a quick comment on that where he's saying $20 an hour, make it 30, make it 40. Like this is the same comment we heard over and over, and it's like, I will say this, like when they raise that minimum wage, then say you live in a $200,000 house. Well, now, since everyone's making $15 or $20 an hour, that $200,000 house becomes a $300,000 or $400,000 house, like cost-wise, for someone to come buy it. It's the same cycle over and over again. And in the end, who gets rich on that house? The government gets rich, because every year, what am I paying? I'm paying taxes on it. And when I sell it to make a profit, who's still making money? The government again. I mean, I don't. When people say when people are saying you can't make a living off of $7.25 an hour, you're absolutely right. That's why my two kids that are in school, I say, hey, study, work hard, because you don't want to be making $7.25 an hour for the rest of your life. I mean, that's just, I don't know. Am I off base here thinking this way? I mean,
not at all.
And I'm a single parent too. I'm a single parent too. So he's like, there's a single mom out there, but there's single dads out here too, raising two kids. And let me tell you what, I had a business at the start of last year. It failed because of the scandemic. And, I could sit back and say, oh, woe is me. But no, right now, what am I doing? I'm thinking, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next idea I have? That's the great thing of America, that you get knocked down 10 times, and that's probably going to happen when you're a business. You're going to get knocked down, and it just takes that one big idea, and I could be calling you next year, be a millionaire. And I think, and on top of that, all the employees that were working for me, guess what? You know what? Hey, they all got paid, and they all went on to go work a different job. Me as a business owner, guess what happens? You're left to, you got to pay your vendors. You have to pay the taxes still. They don't care. Hey, we shut your business down. We finished you off this year. The government, I mean, they don't care. At the end of the year, they say, hey, you owe this much money to us. They may say there's some relief in the fact that, you could take 2-3 years to pay us back, but they want their money. And, that's just my 2 cents on that. And also too, I think it's funny that Beetlejuice or Mayor Left Foot, Right Foot, they're all opening. I just think it's hilarious that they're all opening up now, and
right on time, right?
For everybody. Yeah, right on time. Like, I mean, you were calling this 6 months ago?
Yeah.
So I just, and as for Trump, I mean, hats off to him. He paused his life for 4 years. His life became worse. His life became worse to make the country better. So, you know, the next 4 years, guess what? I'm still going to wake up every morning, still going to go make $1, you know, try to turn it into 2. And, you know, that's what I could tell all the listeners out there. I mean, you know, we just got to regroup. Like how you said, get into your community, whether it's your church, whether it's like a YMCA, whether it's just at the playground, out there being a role model for young people. Because that's how the left took over. That's really how the left took over. They got the young people. And, you know, and it's because, you know, unfortunately, maybe our side, the conservative side, we weren't as in touch with our young people, you know, whether that's parents not being in the home, letting the teachers raise our kids, you know, or whatever it is. I just think that the way that we, you know, and it may not be in another 4 years, you know, hopefully Biden doesn't get reelected, but just realistically, I mean, usually you serve those 2 terms, but this is a time where we just gotta, for us, come together. And even if you think the election was stolen and all of that, you know, I agree, but, you know, at this time, I mean, we got beat. We got played, really. That's what it boils down to. We got played, and by both sides of the aisle, you know, both people on both sides. So we just got to regroup and be good citizens. That's the big thing that's going to get us back in power, be good citizens, you know. So that's my 2 cents. Thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it. Love what you're doing. And I'll still be watching.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, man. Bye.
All righty. The phone lines are blowing up. Let's get into a few more. Let's go. 618, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. How's it going tonight?
Going pretty good, man. Can't complain about yourself.
Hey, good. This is your friend Shane here. I just had a tip for everybody on the conservative side who's listening and may have friends or family who believe in the minimum wage increase. And it's actually a very easy problem to resolve on a logical level. So all you have to tell them is it's impossible for you to have a progressive income tax and a minimum wage increase at the same time. And I'll bet you can tell me why that is, ABL.
I don't know. I didn't think about that one. You got to tell me on that one. I'll probably catch on pretty quick.
I'll go ahead. Yeah. And it's impossible in the sense that it would actually help anybody, because so long as you have a progressive income tax, it's going to negate whatever minimum wage increase you propose, because if your wage goes up by $5, you're just going to be taxed more.
Right. Yeah. Pay more.
And
yeah.
I think and I think it was either your last caller or the one before that mentioned that the only one who's going to benefit financially is going to be the government, because then they're going to collect a nominally a higher tax amount, while your currency is being inflated rather. So you're losing value. It punishes the savers. This is what happened in Weimar Germany, as I'm sure you're aware. They experienced, not where we're at quite yet, but they eventually reached a level of hyperinflation where people, and you can look this up, were literally getting paid at lunchtime so they could go buy groceries before the price increased by the end of the day.
Wow. Crazy.
And I'll just close with one anecdote of a real world example of this and how devastating it can be to local business, as if they haven't been, devastated enough recently. When I used to live by a Little Caesars in a city that implemented the $15 minimum wage. And before the $15 minimum wage, Little Caesars, they're never not going to be busy. I went there probably twice a week. It was always, a 15-minute wait to get a pizza that should be ready already. And within a month of the $15 minimum wage increase happening, the place shut down. And the stated reason, they put a sign on the door, was that we could no longer afford to pay our employees and offer you the value pizza that we were able to do before because of that minimum wage increase. So you got 20, 30 employees that no longer have a job and a business who's no longer, able to serve the community. So I don't know how that's supposed to help society if you're somebody who's so concerned about, the socialism and the benefit of society. It's funny how they only end up hurting it, right?
Correct.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to share with you, though. Just a quick little tip. And if you tell people, you'll see the light bulb go off in their head. They're like, oh, yeah, if I earn more money, I'm going to get taxed more. So it's a wash. It doesn't help anybody.
Man, great call, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night.
Fantastic call. Couldn't have said it no better myself. These, government regulations, that's all it really is. High minimum wage, high government regulation. All that does is just make the business more difficult to run, more expensive to run. And it's going to hurt those that work there. It's going to hurt the employer. It hurt the community. Tax basis, it hurts everybody. So it's like, what's the point in doing it? It doesn't make any sense. Like I said from the beginning, if I could be a king and rule by fiat, I would say no minimum wage, zero minimum wage, and whatever you agree upon is whatever you agree upon. We do that in other forms of employment, 1099 employment. Okay, how much you charge to paint a house? I charge X. All right, I'll pay you X to paint a house. There's a minimum wage, maximum wage. You just get paid whatever you want. I can do it for free if I want to. If I say, hey, I'll paint that for free just because I want to. Habitat for Humanity style. All right, cool. Go ahead and do it. Charge whatever you want to charge. If they're willing to pay for it, that's how it should be. That's just my opinion. 602, you know how much we can do.
Speaking to Mike from Phoenix.
All right, man. What's going on
tonight, ABL?
Everything's good. Can't complain.
Oh, I just want to touch on the gentleman talking about the minimum wage. I was young once too, and when you're young, you don't realize it's not the amount of money he has; it's the fact he doesn't know how to manage the money he does have. We see this, even with sports players, athletes. They get all this money and they blow it very quickly. So it's not really the amount of money he has.
Yeah, it's your lifestyle. What you spending it on? What are you doing? What else you got going on? Yeah, that's definitely a real thing. Like people that win the lottery and then they're broke in 6 months.
Absolutely. And so he doesn't realize that, that point when you're not making a lot of money, that's to start learning skills. If you decide you're not going to pick up a book, you're not going to take any classes, you're not going to get any experience, then where are you going to go in life? Zuckerberg learned how to code. That's a skill. If he didn't do that, he sat around, getting stoned or doing whatever else or not working. You don't learn any skills. You don't get rich. You don't do anything without developing more skills. It's hard to even talk to women and get a girlfriend if you don't develop skills. You got to be able to talk with people. And so to sit there at his parents' house playing, Fortnite or whatever he's doing, you got to level up. Get off level 1 of Pac-Man, go to level 2, see what's there.
That's right,
and that's the biggest issue he's got.
That's right. You got to level up. You can't just be, complacent in life. Like, yeah, I get vacation. It's like, nah, you're 25. Like by 25, I was already well into my business. I was years in my business. Like, you got to be able to move up in life. Like when I started working, I was 16, 17. I made 625, 650. And I was in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I'll be here while I'm in high school and part of college. And then once I leave or get enough skill to leave college without graduating, I'm going to go do my business. That's what I did. I had a plan for my life. I wasn't just kind of going through the motions and letting life happen to me. I went out there and I made moves with my life. That's what you got to do when you're an adult.
Absolutely. My dad came to me when I turned 18 and said, I sold the house and bought an RV. They said, I got to give you a month. And so I was 18 and I figured it out and got a job, learned more skills. Somebody offered me a better job. I got into the trades. Now I'm making, $34 an hour. It's at $72,000 a year. And just every year doing a little better, learning new skills. I got a book. I run a machine shop, and I got a book where I'm learning more skills about running new machines. You got to continue to improve yourself. I had a bad injury and put me down, and I was going to go on disability, and I was homeless. Had to move in with my sister 4 years ago. Today, I own a house. I got $150,000 in equity just because I learned these skills. It was okay that I lost, money for a while and was broke, but because I had skills, 4 years later, I built myself back up. And I started, previously, okay, you don't know about money, pick up a book, listen to somebody who does, Dave Ramsey or somebody else. Not everything might not be right what they're saying, but you're going to improve and learn more skills about how to manage your money.
That's right. Right on point.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate you, man. Keep up the good work.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good night.
Fantastic call. You know, going back to my own family, we're from West Virginia, right? All of us on all sides from there originally. Whether we live somewhere else now, we're all from West Virginia originally. Now, my great grandfather on my mom's side built 2 houses with next to no education. All he had was books at his disposal. So all he had was books in West Virginia in like the 60s. Okay, and he's black. Oh, it's racist. Black man built in 2 houses in West Virginia. They're still saying today. They're still saying right now in 2021. Okay, with next to no education. So if you are, and he was young when he did that, you got kids and grandkids, great grandkids, all of that. My parents got married when my mom was 18. My dad was 21. My dad owned property, like he owned the land and a trailer home in West Virginia at that time when my parents got married. He had got transferred. Like by the time he was 25, when he was 25, I was born. So my dad had already been married for 4 years before I was born and had a career and everything else established. And he was in the military, everything else. And he was like 17. He went to Paris Island. He was in the Marine Reserves. Did all of that, because it was a level up. And you coming from extreme poverty. I'm talking about barefoot outside, no pavement. It's like you just got to keep leveling up. That's how you do it. So when I see them, my parents come from that kind of environment. I don't have any kind of excuse. I don't come from that kind of environment. I lived in low income areas, but nothing like West Virginia in the 60s and 70s. So what's my excuse? But I digress. Let's get to some more calls. 304, you're on the line. I'm speaking to.
How's it going, ABL, brother?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Nah, not much. Just sitting here. One of the things I want to talk to you about is on past live streams you said Pence betrayed, but didn't betray Trump. And on one hand, I think you're kind of wrong on that, because if you think about it, in 2016, Pence, he didn't really support Trump till Trump picked him. Pence picked people like Cruz and someone else. You know what I mean? Like, I personally think Pence was honored to become VP because it's probably better than any governorship, I think. And I think he's been despite that chops to betray Trump. I'm not going to be voting for Pence if he runs for anything, dog catcher or anything. I wouldn't vote for him. I'd vote for someone like Ted Cruz, who actually stood up for Trump, because who knows if Pence sent to state legislature in these other states, sent dueling electors, he could have easily accepted these other electors. Who knows if it went to the 10-day audit? Who knows what would have happened? I told my brother on the day before they broke into the Capitol, if all else fails, they can remove these electors from the Electoral College, and it'll be whoever has the most votes is president. You know what I mean? It could have went 3, 4, 5, 6 different ways. You know what I mean?
I don't know, because I think that if that could have been done, then they would have tried that with when Trump came in office with Joe Biden, because remember,
they wasn't enough evidence. You know what I mean? Facebook's post and all that. Who believed that in 2016?
Well,
I was in high school when that happened, and I didn't hear about it 2 years later. You know what I mean? So,
you saw what happened. You saw what happened during 2016. How they did all the spying and all this. They did everything they could have done. They did things that way above and beyond with no evidence.
Enough evidence.
They didn't have evidence. There was no evidence to do the spying, but they did it.
I'm just saying there wasn't enough evidence Trump was with Russia. You know what I mean? Like, this time it'd have been acceptable if Pence would have accepted the dueling electors from the other side. And 4 years ago, that I wouldn't see Biden accepting it. You know what I mean? Because he's president of the Senate at the time. There wasn't enough evidence from Russia. You know what I mean? Who believed Facebook posts would turn a complete election? Like, Facebook wasn't even involved in this one. You know what I mean?
All righty.
The next thing I was wanting to talk about is even if Trump would have said in his speech on Jan 6th, we need to take over this Capitol and blah, 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 even if he would have said them words, I don't think they would be able to impeach him, you know what I mean, in the Senate. I don't think the Senate's going to vote for it anyway. But
no, they don't got the votes because you got to get 2/3 majority. They don't got the votes.
Yeah, they ain't no way. And there's a couple of Democrats I think is going to vote the other way anyway. But even if he would have said, let's take over this Capitol, you know what I mean? I still don't think some of his supporters would have went in there anyway, a majority of them. The people that went in there was 45 minutes behind the people that listened to the speech. It's common frickin' sense.
Right, no doubt. I mean, I think we're going to see some things happen. I think we're going to see a lot more that came of this whole thing in the future. Because the whole thing with Russia took, like 3 years and a bunch of money, $40 million, 500 subpoenas. I think we're going to see more of this in the future. It's not going to be just, right away things will get revealed.
In the pictures I saw, the people that was like on the top deck of that Capitol, it was nothing but black clothes. You know what I mean? People wearing black clothes.
Yeah.
Our supporters don't wear black clothes. We wear bright colors like reds, greens, blues, whites, whatever. We don't wear blacks.
And we also had people that were in there wearing our stuff to try to blend in. So you got a lot of different people. It wasn't just, the news will say it was just Trump supporters. Nah, it was a little bit of everybody in that mix. And a lot of people that were out there engaging in the violence, a lot of them were not us, although some of them were us. A lot of them weren't us, though.
And just look at the BLM and Antifa that's been arrested, you know what I mean, and that's walked in there. Now, some of us, I do admit, some of us just walked in there and didn't do no harm, just looked around, like followed the guidelines and whatever. Like, the police let them in. Like, a couple of days before that, like, there's a memo going around, like, it's just going to be another regular day. We don't need more officers or whatever. Like, it was just, like, they thought it was going to be a regular day with the third protest, whatever it's going to be there. I didn't get to go, but I wasn't going anyway. Third one, I wasn't going to go. It was too cold here. Too cold. You know what I mean? ABL.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, I just want to tell you, we all love you here in WB. I know about 60 people supporting you and subscribe to you here in WB. We love you, bro. We look at you like a statesman, like a countryman, you know what I mean?
That's right, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, it's good talking to you, brother.
All right, now, take care. All righty. Shout out to the caller. And there's some more calls. All right, call 757 you on the line. I'm speaking to.
Yeah, Mr. Logan. Chesapeake Bob here. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Can't complain about yourself.
It's been a little while since I got a chance to call in. I've been actually teaching people in Thailand, which is like 9 o'clock to midnight.
Okay. I got you.
First of all, I want to say that I'm sorry for your loss. I haven't called in since your father passed.
Thank you.
And by the way, it's a great show. That young man, that 25-year-old living in his mom's basement, was excellent and funny. But I did have a question for you. Why do you think the Democrats want to have open borders?
Well, that's a very good question, and the reason is, I would say it's probably two big reasons, and I don't think everyone on the left even understands that both reasons exist. One side thinks one reason, the other side thinks one reason, and people like the politicians, they know that it's two reasons. Now, one reason is they don't want to be racist. They want to let everybody come in because they're coming in trying to get a better way of life, and they're trying to just get some bread and all types of stuff. They want a better life, so they deserve it, and we shouldn't have any borders, and come one, come all. And they believe in that poem on the Statue of Liberty that was added later as a contest to be a fundraiser. They believe in that. Give us your shelter, give us your week. They believe in that. Then you have those that don't care about any of that emotional stuff. They're looking at the money that they can get from these people. They're trying to get them in to work under the table, being on construction sites, working on farms. They want them to do that kind of work. You know, be
$15 an hour.
Not at all. They pay them whatever they want to get paid or whatever they can pay them under the table. No taxes or nothing like that because you don't got social security number. They want to be in here doing that. So that's that part of it. Now the politicians, they understand both sides, and they know that both sides are in their demographic. They will vote for them. They know that if they can get the people that want them to come in there for financial reasons, they'll vote for them. Oh, we're going to open borders. They know what that means. Okay, we can get them to come in here and work. The regular normies, that don't really know anything about the money part, just want to be emotional and think with their heart, they'll vote for them as well because they think it's about altruism. When it ain't about that, it's about just trying to get votes and power.
I believe you're correct on both of those. I'd also like to add one.
Okay.
What's been going on with the African American community over the last 2 or 3 elections?
Be more specific with your question.
What's been going on with the African American vote over the last 2 or 3 elections?
Nothing more than what it has been since before that. It's the same.
It's been.
I mean,
it's been going up and up and up.
You're right. You're right. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna thank you. You made a good point because during this past election and some of the election data, you still got an overwhelming vote going for the Democrats, but there's also an uptick in vote for the Republicans. I think what they said, it was a big gain among black males. It was like a 35% uptick in black males voting for the Republican Party, and it went like 100% for black females. It's still low for Republicans, but it went from 4% to 8%. So people are starting to go the other direction in the black community. It's going to be a slow process to see a really, really, really big change, but we're making a change.
Yeah, and that's why they want open borders, is to replace that vote. Let me move on to another question I have for you, because I've missed this and I've been working. Are you and B. Tatum and maybe Jericho Green ever going to get together and do another live stream?
I mean, I don't know. Hopefully we do. I might have to call him and, tell him that the people are wanting it, they're demanding it, because I get that question a lot. Brandon is just real busy, so it's hard for him sometimes to really schedule these things with all of us. But, I mean, I'm down for it. Hopefully we can get that back on deck because those are really fun shows.
They were great shows. I mean, I've got them all, and I'm playing back and forth. Last thing I'd like to say, you were talking earlier in your show about investments. You had people calling in saying you invest in gold, invest in silver, invest in land, invest in firearms, all of which I agree with. But I want to give you some investment advice from me. Is that okay?
Go for it.
You need to invest in Spanish and Chinese restaurants. That's just a little joke.
Well, it's a joke, but it's not too far off because, they're coming. They're here and they're coming, so it's not too far off.
Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it, and you stay safe.
All right, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. All righty. Yeah, shout out to the caller. But that was a joke, but it wasn't too far off because they coming. The Hispanics, they coming. The Chinese, they coming. In Africa, they're already there. Like, as far as the Chinese are concerned, they dominate Africa. They're the new European without the altruism, but that's a different story. Okay, look at some more here. Let's go 386 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
How's it going, ABL? This is Cody.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Not much. Sipping on a Cuba Libre. Still trying to get that one guy's country accent out of my head. I do have a question. Well, I got a few questions, but as far as Mr. 45 himself, in your opinion, what do you think his game plan, whatever it might be, during the next 4 years with Biden? Do you think he's going to be draining the swamp some more, declassifying a lot more stuff? Like, what do you think, in broad terms, his approach is going to be during this 4-year period that we have coming up ahead?
Oh, what you mean? You mean Trump? What are his plans?
Yeah, like whatever you think he might be, he's got cooking up his sleeve that he might be trying to do, if he does decide to try to run again in 2024. what do you think one of his game plans might be during that time?
I don't think he's going to run. He might run. Let's just say he does run. I'm gonna get to why I think he might not run after this. If he does run, he'll try to complete what he already been doing. The wall that's going to be primary. Trying to get the economy back on track. Trying to get back right ever since the virus hit and destroyed everything. Just trying to do what he had been doing during the first term, and then as far as trying to classify anything, well, you got to have cooperation with the people that have the information, with the intelligence community, deep state, whatever you want to call them. You got to get them to be on board, because he can say, all right, we're going to put everything out there, we're going to declassify, but if he's not giving the information, then it's like, what can he do? So he may try to do that. He may try to really get down to the core of what's happening, expose some people. I think that'd be his objective. And then, since you saw what happened during this election, he may have a kind of chip on his shoulder and a point to prove. So he may get some revenge on some people, not any kind of way physical. I'm talking about just election-wise. That may be what he tries to do. So I think that'll be his objective. Now, he probably won't run next time because he'd be up there in age, 78. And in reality, he ran the first time just because it was like, all right, this is what I want to do. I want to help my country. But he went through so much. Does he want to do it again? Maybe, but I don't know.
Okay, I like that a lot. I definitely see him doing that. And then, at the same time, his age, when it comes to running again, obviously his cognitive ability is way better than the successor at the moment. But I digress. Now, what do you think about, as far as the states of Arizona, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan? Where do you see a possible solution coming forth with these states as far as how they conduct elections in the near future, like 2022, 2024, et cetera? Do you think there's going to be any change when it comes to how they run and do their voting because of, the elephant in the room of what happened the past couple months?
That's a good question. I really don't know. They may try to do something if they feel like they need to. But what's going to have to happen is you got to have some kind of investigation to figure out what went wrong. Because I really don't know what exactly went wrong or what's going on. There were some irregularities, but I really don't know the extent of it or what the actual issues are they got to solve. So unless they do something like that to investigate what's happening, or maybe an independent third party can investigate and see what's going on, do some inside work, be a mole on the inside and figure out what's going on, I don't know what can actually be done to fix the situation, but hopefully something is done.
Okay. Yeah, I hope so too, because it really blows my mind that Florida and Ohio went red, but those went blue when they even put out a tracker on how these states correlate with which side they're going to vote during a presidential election. It really just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Another quick question. What's your thoughts on Representative Dan Crenshaw's response as far as the Constitution goes and pertaining to them objecting to certifying the electoral votes when he did that segment on Fox? What's your stance on what he had said, on why he disagreed with it?
I did not see what he said. I didn't see that segment.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. Aside from Mr. 45 himself, who else do you see as a possible good candidate for the GOP that's not a rhino, that's a constitutionalist or damn near close to a constitutionalist? Because the main two people I could even see at the moment is maybe POTUS's son, or I'm hearing a lot of people saying Governor DeSantis.
Yes, DeSantis
from Florida.
He's the best. Love him.
Yeah.
He's the absolute best.
So glad Florida.
Oh yeah, he has the best state right now, the best run state. He's doing all the right moves, all the right decisions. He can speak on his feet. Excellent, great image, perfect.
Yeah, and that, like, his overall leadership has really made me proud of being a Floridian and that being my home state. Aside from Florida man kind of ruining it for everybody and the news cycle and everything, but yeah, I'm really I'm really thankful of what he's done leadership wise. Ever since Tim Scott went to being one of the senators for Florida, I think he's probably one of the best candidates. Not Marco Rubio, but definitely put him at the forefront. And then final question.
Quickly,
this
please.
is a little bit of a difficult question, but do you see ever in the future of a fully 100% for the Constitution president in the near future? Like they're 100% constitutionalist. Do you see them possibly being for the GOP? Do you see them being from the Libertarian Party any time in the future? Like, do you foresee that anytime soon?
No, because it can be interpreted in different ways. So that's why you got the Supreme Court making rulings on the Constitution. So it can be interpreted. Like I don't really foresee that. It'd be great, but it can be interpreted. So what someone may think is 100% for Constitution may not be that same way for someone else. So since it can be interpreted and viewed differently by different people, it's probably not even possible. You can get somebody that's close, but they won't. How they view it won't be the same for everyone. But thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you for taking my call. God bless.
Thank you. Yeah, I like Rand Paul as well. Rand Paul probably the closest guy that I know of, Constitution-wise. But is he really going to be able to grab on and latch? I'm not really sure. But I do like Rand Paul. Shout out to him. And shout out to Ron Paul as well. Hopefully he's well. I saw him. He had an episode a while back on stream. Hopefully Dr. Ron Paul as well. But yeah, Ron DeSantis is the Don daughter. All right, let's get to one more call. 416 on the line. I'm speaking to.
Starbucks. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing all right, I guess. All things considered.
Right.
Last show, there was a guy called in, and he was really upset, and I think he was really bummed out because he couldn't see a way to vote anybody in honestly. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, like I was trying to call in, and here's basically just kind of off the top of my head what somebody like himself and others are going to have to do. They have to get together, find people who have got, skills, set up a website, call it the Americans for a Free and Fair Election, and invite everybody. Tell it's welcoming Democrats, welcoming Republicans, because it has nothing to do with the parties. It's just got everything to do with the election being 100% fair. And make sure that you start it off with a website looking like the Declaration of Independence with "We the People," and say, like, 1, we demand a free and fair election, demand in person, no exceptions, voting except for absentee ballots, the ones that I believe you send for yourself, government issued ID for all, and for all federal elections, military sets up, runs, and physically counts all ballots entered. And if they want to put them in voting machines, that's fine, but the military count them first. And then say Republican and Democrats are not just allowed, but encouraged to witness the counting. They've got to get this across to everybody that they know. They've got to tell everyone, get in touch with people in power, and say, this is what we've set up, this is what we want. If the people in your area do not listen to you, and I'm talking about your elected officials, find elected officials somewhere else in the country, contact them. Like here in Canada, there's 2 people that I trust, and if I've got issues, I will talk to them, but they're not in Toronto. They're not, like, one of them is in Alberta, which is at the other end of the country. So if you have to do that, contact these people. Everybody, if they're that concerned, if he's truly that concerned, and I'm not just talking about him, because there's a ton of people out there like this. The problem lies in the validity of the election, and everybody should be concerned about that. And that's what this is all about. All that this is about They've got to stop watching Netflix and get together with other people and get something going like this. That's all I got to say. Thanks a lot, Anthony. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You too.
All righty. That'll be a wrap for the calls tonight. If you cannot get on tonight, it's not my fault. You got to blame the white man. But thank y'all for being here yet again. I'll be back live again on Wednesday, of course, at 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. Talking for the first hour or so, then calls for the final 2 hours, of course. But if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now and click the bell while you're at it so you get notified whenever I go live and/or post a new video. I got super chats on deck, and then I'm going to get on up out of here. Shout out to the mods for doing a good job keeping the trolls in check. We ain't had too many trolls tonight. It's been a pretty cool, nice show. Went real fast. I mean, like I just sat down a little while ago, and then it's almost over. It's crazy. So thank y'all for a great show as always. Super chats, I'm going to read those right quick. Thank you to Kevin for your donation. Thank you to Gypsy Queen who says, troops got to do their practice deployment sometime. What better time? Talking about right now? At perfect time. Thank you to Matthew who says, a black man with a picture of Mao. Mao's Cultural Revolution would have killed the man for being black. Just like the BLM founders being Marxist. Honestly, how historically ignorant can you get? Exactly. Thank you for that. Shout out to Reed who says, how likely will $15 happen? And if so, when will it be implemented? That's a good question. I'm not really sure because right now it's a proposal. It's like probably like a bill that's out there. It probably will happen, but maybe it all depends on how the Democrats view it. If it's too extreme, too much, they may not go for it. If the Democrats are all in, then it's going to go. If they're not, then it's not going to go. And it'll probably be next year and it probably will be like in phases, like how they do in other parts of the country. So I'm not really sure when you get to full 15. But that's a really, really good question. All right. Thank you to Spring Hill Outdoors says, one of my first subscribers. Thank you for being here, man. It's been a long, long time, man. Like 2015. Thank you for being here so long. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to Matthew who says, don't blame the ISP, blame the white man. Shout out to Cora who says, ABL life experiences exposes your level of faith, in my opinion. There you go. Thank you to Kelly Degler who says, ABL, God bless you as well. Where's the dang sauce says, Bill Gates is going to cause a fake famine and start the population of America. Things not looking good. Why do you think he's buying up land? Angel Rivera says, hey, ABL, I look forward to your live shows every week. Keep up the good work. I hope you grow into a much larger platform to combat fake news. That'd be great, man. Shout out to Matt who says, I beat the VA after 21 years of fighting. I got 100% disability rating this week. Congratulations, sir. No vet should ever stop fighting. Yes, man. Keep on fighting, man. And congrats on that. You didn't give up and you were able to get your goal met. Shout out to Alex who says, hey, I sent you the email with a link to the SoCal Media website. I'll check it out. Thank you to Jason who says, are we headed to a cashless society? I don't think so. Well, what do you mean cashless? Do you mean paper dollars? Maybe. Because the reality is that 97% of your money is not cash, not physical cash. It's all digital. Like your actual cash is not cash. It ain't that much. If everybody was to go to the bank right now and take all their cash, it wouldn't be enough because most of your money is digital. Most of your money is just on the computer. That's facts. Thank you to Hydra who says 61, maybe less percent of the American dollars has been printed in 2019, meaning we printed more money than all of American history in 2019. Wow. He also says, even so, I still recommend people to still open up a Roth IRA. Excuse me, it's tax-free money. Just wait until your age to take it out. Shout out to Young Manhood Channel, YMC, who says, salute ABL. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Craig, who says, ABL, love you, man. I made $3.35 an hour as a teen. Big Mac combo costs about $4 today. It costs back then $4. Today it costs around $8. If they raise minimum wage to $15, it will cost $15 for lunch. If they don't see that, then they are nuts. Oh yeah, we already pretty much right there. Try going to Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, all of that. It's already pretty much creeping up there right now. They're getting ready for it. Hydrop says the dumb arses don't realize that businesses will just cut down your work time so they can still pay you the same while that you think you make more. Exactly. Your hourly wage went up, but you done made less hours. Like my man earlier was talking about, it's like, okay, if I get paid 15, then I can live. It's like, well, how do you know you're going to get paid more? You're getting paid more per hour, but the key phrase is per hour. Okay, if you're getting 40 hours at 750 and you get your hours cut to 20 at 15, you're making the exact same amount of money. The exact same amount of money. And you probably got to do the same work in half the time. So now you got to go harder for the same money. Now, on the bright side, you got more time to yourself, but if you only got one job, then what's the point? Now you got to get multiple jobs and grind harder to make your 15. You see what I'm saying? Let me see. Abundance America Health, Wealth, and Wisdom says he fails to understand ABL doesn't get a paycheck, and he is doing better than 725 because he did what? Craft his speaking skills. Why can't others do the same? Oh, because they're 28 and want to live with mama. Yeah. You know, I had to grind real hard. When I was doing my whole graphic design thing, when I first started, I was not good at what I was doing. Creating websites. I didn't know how to create a website. I self-taught a lot of that stuff and just made it happen and made it away from myself. You got to be able to do it. You got to be able to gain skills. Therefore, you're able to have a better life. You're able to gain more resources. That's how it works. All right. That's the key. If you're a skilled person, you can make a way for yourself in America. Shout out to Tara Ann who says, finish this leftist off, ABL. Much love. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Shout out to Justice Smith who says 750 isn't livable here in Mississippi. Make it 11. Why not 1150, 1175, $12? Where is the random number? Where is the number coming from? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. Just random numbers being thrown out there, like make it this. Shout out to Abundance America who says it's easy to give away money you ain't earned, ain't it? Exactly. Justice says he can't move out, make it $750 an hour. Well, I mean, if he needs to make more money. He makes $11 an hour right now. Make more money. If you can't leave, make more money. Get skills. Figure out a way. I mean, if you're 25 years old at the crib with your mom, you got time to make skills to generate more revenue for yourself. You just choose not to because you're complacent. All right. Surferhead 20 says, what's up, brother? Crazy the younger generation and their lack of knowledge. I was out of my parents' house at 18 and never looked back. I'm 31 and been self-employed for 10 years. Hope all is well. Hey, shout out to you, man. Thank you for your donation. Yeah, I was 23 when I left, and I thought I was old. And I had money saved up. I had cash saved up. Had enough money to get, you know, I was paying a car note. I had money to get furnished, get my crib fully furnished, nice little apartment or whatever. I was old when I left, and by that time, I already had skills. I was already done with college. I had, you know, prepared myself to leave. I wasn't just chilling at the crib. Citizen Shane says, what's the point setting up a website to challenge the election when tech monopolies will conspire to shut you down? I mean, you may think they will, but there's plenty of websites right now that exist to say the same thing that he was talking about. Not the exact same way he laid it out, but there's websites that say that the election wasn't legitimate. You know, you can't shut everything down at a certain point. All right. Let me see. Firecracker Lady or Baby says, ABL, you should invite Larry Elder to do a show sometime. Great voice to listen, a reason to listen to, like yourself. Different generation. I've met him before in person. And, you know, I asked him, I was like, hey, man, have you come on the show. So hopefully Larry's listening. Maybe he remember me from the Blexit event we did. Remember that? Come on the show, man. Or I'll come on your show, whatever it is. You know, I'd love to have you, man. So shout out to Larry Elder. Let me see. Shout out to Leo who says, on top of hours being cut and price increase, you would see about the same amount on your check. P.S. I work for Burlington and New Jersey. We are at $12 an hour now. Mandatory Carey says, hashtag keep fighting. Frank says the left-wing BLM member that was arrested will not only get over, but the Medal of Freedom from Johnny Ola Biden, Backdoor Harris, rigged election. That's what they say. RIGDY win. Hilarious name. Says, worst mistake they can make is make Trump a martyr. Exactly. Ryan says, do you think Biden will raise the price of firearms as a way to prevent people from getting them? He's already tried to say that. He's already tried to say that he wants to have a tax on quote unquote assault weapons. So you can only get it if you're rich. So much for the poor man trying to defend himself and look after himself. It's crazy. But yeah, that's already been proposed. Now, will he be able to do it? I'm not really sure. Hey You says, many places already pay more than minimum wage. McDonald's near my house advertises $12. Let the market decide and businesses pay or compete by offering more. Exactly. The competition, because you got McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, what else? Popeyes, KFC, Wendy's, whatever. And they're all competing in the same area for employees, for business, the prices, the quality, all of that. And the price of employment is going to be a competing factor. Why would I go to McDonald's to work if they paying $7 when Chick-fil-A is like right across the street and they paying $15 or whatever it is? It just makes kind of common sense. You got to compete on the price as well. Shout out to Charles, who says they are after Trump because he pushed back and exposed the corruption in not only the establishment, but all societal and cultural institutions, media, academia, big tech, Hollywood corporations. Exactly. Thank you to Juan for your thumbs up donation. I appreciate it. Thank you to Angel, who says the left has academia, Hollywood, woke sports, and big tech's ability to cancel on their side. Do you think that's enough power to create a one-party government? That's their objective, but as long as we're here, they're not really going to be able to be successful, in my opinion. Shout out to Jay, who says Tim Scott 2024. Thank you to Rick D, who says bankruptcy is the only way to stop the oligarchs, make them worthless. Good. See, you thinking. And thank you to Nick, who says I work for my dad for $9.25 an hour. Feel bad about quitting if it goes up to 15. He's not required to pay minimum wage unless he has 6 employees. Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know, whatever happens, you gotta do what you gotta do. And it's unfortunate if he has to. You know, if your dad is gonna suffer as a result of the whole thing. It's really unfortunate, but you got to do what you got to do. All right. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate you guys. It's been a great show. Great show as always. I'll be back live again on Wednesday. I'm here every Wednesday and Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so right around 11 or so. And shout out to the mods. You guys know who you are. I appreciate all of you. Shout out to all the super chatters, the viewers, the followers, listeners, the retweeters, the commenters, all you guys. But that's all I got. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.